Chapter 481, Death Storm. The crowd stood on top of a tall hill. What surprised them was that the spatial crack behind them had disappeared, which meant that they were temporarily trapped within the White Tiger Profound Realm, and they must wait for 2 months until the big whirlpool opened again to get out of there. Of course, Chen Shang had already marked a target point on the Luotian door. With his current strength, it would be very easy for him to escape from the Profound Realm. Where should we go? This Profound Realm is really big. It's the biggest Profound Realm I've ever seen, Lan Shan said with excitement. The killing intent and death aura were both heavy here, as well as the spirit chi, which was much denser than that in any Profound Realm he ever had seen before, which meant there must be a lot of treasures in it. There were over 100 people here, and they could be divided into several groups. Just as everyone began to search for groups, a gentle breeze suddenly blew out. Be careful, it is the tyrannical devil storm, Long Shui suddenly shouted. The tyrannical devil storm. Chen Shang heard that from Bai Yu before. It was a natural phenomenon that frequently appeared in the devil world. It was formed usually at a place where killing intent, death aura, and spirit chi were very dense. When these three different kinds of intangible energies merged together, it would create a terrifying tyrannical devil wind. Chen Shang also read about it in books, however, in the mortal world, it was known as the death storm. It was a type of strong wind that carried a sharp saber-like astral wind, and wherever it went, any architectures would be razed to the ground. Any places that it blew out would lose all vitalities and show a scene of death. The death storm is coming, Chen Shang shouted out loud. Although the majority of the people here belonged to the Holy Light sect, there were also some magnates from other seas and the Chenwu continent. All of them were stunned as they heard the word, death storm. They immediately looked around, only to see that in the distance around them, clumps of black gas suddenly appeared. The black gas bared its fangs and brandished its claws, as if it was a demon, forming a huge black tornado that connected the heaven and earth. Waves of thick, black clouds also immediately covered the sky. Endless killing intent and death aura dispersed in the sky, like a curtain of death that came crashing down, causing everyone to be breathless. Junior Master, Ji Yu Dongchen yelled and was about to extend his hand to grab Chen Shang, but he was a step too slow. Everyone was pulled by an invisible force and dispersed. They were all sucked away by a strong suction force and swept into the huge tornado in all directions. Chen Shang hurriedly urged the wind attribute energy in his body to fuse him with the violent and strong air current. This way, he would be able to barely control his body. In just a few blinks of an eye, more than 100 strong practitioners of the Nirvana realm had been sucked away to somewhere unknown. More and more huge black tornadoes appeared around them. Promptly, all the beautiful mountains and trees were sucked into the terrifying tornado. The entire place had become a sea of death tornado. At a glance, one could see that these tornadoes were like giant pillars that connected the heavens and the earth. This is really a tyrannical devil storm. Currently, only Chen Shang was not sucked into the tornado. However, it was difficult for him to escape from the powerful suction force. His body could not help but float in a certain direction. Kong Bu de Gang Feng Ru Tong Li Dao Yi Ban, Shen Shang Ru Guo Mei Yu Zan Wu Jin Gang Jia De Wa, Kong Pa Zhao Ju Bei Na Wu Shu Ba Gang Feng Hua Sheng De Li Dao Gei Sheng Sui Pian. The terrifying astral wind was like a sharp blade. If Chen Shang didn't have the black tortoise armament armor, he would have been cut into pieces by the countless blades formed from the astral winds. Chen Shang did not withstand for a long time before he was sucked in by the huge tornado with thousands of feet of width. His body was protected by the black tornado armament armor, so he did not suffer any damage. However, these winds contained all sorts of tyrannical consciousness, just like the howls of ghosts and wolves, wanting to drill into Chen Shang consciousness and devour his soul. Now Chen Shang knows why the person who came out would go crazy. After suffering such a mental attack, the person's consciousness would be devoured and he would inevitably turn crazy. Fortunately, Chen Shang was cultivating the divine path, therefore his divine sense was abnormally strong, not to mention that he possessed magic force that was times stronger than the divine sense. He did not know how long it would take for the storm to stop, so he could only circulate the 9 revolving dragon divine technique to absorb the tyrannical spiritual energy from the tornado. Although the energy was extremely violent and filled with evil consciousness, it turned into a very pure spiritual energy being refined by Chen Shang through 9 revolving dragon divine technique. That was also what Long Shui told him to do. This way, he could take the opportunity to cultivate the divine path, because right now, he had many spiritual powers ready for him to absorb. The storm lasted for 3 days. Countless giant death tornadoes whirled crazily as they moved quickly, leading the people to different places. When the tornado collapsed, there was a strong explosion of air, causing everything inside to gush out in all directions. Originally, Chen Shang had discovered that there were several Nirvana realm practitioners in the same tornado as him. However, after that explosion, they were split up even further away. Chen Shang was blown into a forest. Recalling how he was instantly thrown to this place by the power of the qi earlier, he could not help being emotional. Is this the power of nature? Humans are truly unable to contend against it. It was already very fortunate that he could survive. Now, Chen Shang had to find Lu Menger and Ji Yu Dongchen first. All the people was scattered, and if Chen Shang met Qin Zhejian, Xiao Ziliang, or those people from the Fire God Shrine, he would definitely be killed. Damned, this white tiger profound realm is too terrifying. Chen Shang cursed as he took out a talisman that Lu Menger gave him. Jie Shi Chuan Xuan Ling Fu, Ji Nang Yang Yi Si, Ru Guo Yin Wei Ju Li Tai Yuan Er Wu Fa Chuan Xuan Dewa, Ju Shi Lang Fei La, Er Xian Zai Shen Shang Ji Yu Yi Zhang La. This was a communication spirit talisman. It could only be used once, while if Chen Shang couldn't send a message due to excessive distance, then it would be a waste. Now, he had only one of it. I hope Sister Menger is nearby. Chen Shang activated the talisman, which then ignited into flames. At the same time, he infilled his message into the talisman and delivered it out. In a desolate mountain full of tall hills, Lu Menger was standing on top of a hill. Suddenly, one of her talismans started to move. She took it out then the talisman bursted out with flames. She received the message from Chen Shang, and at the same time, she also knew which direction the message came from. Knowing that Chen Shang was fine, Lu Menger felt relieved. She let out a sigh of relief and flew off in a certain direction. Chen Shang waited at the same spot for more than 6 hours before he sensed Lu Menger's aura. They hastily leapt into the air and landed on Lu Menger's jade lotus frisbee. Little rascal, I'm so worried for you. As Lu Menger saw that Chen Shang was safe, she hurriedly rushed over and hugged him tightly. Chen Shang kissed her forehead and laughed, how could I die so easily? Lu Menger let the jade lotus frisbee descend into the forest. Chen Shang looked around with a mischievous smile on his face. He licked his lips and laughed, Sister Menger, right now, there are only 2 of us. Without the presence as an empress, Lu Menger coquettishly pouted. Her face was slightly reddish as she gently closed her eyes and started kissing with Chen Shang. At this moment, Ji Yu Dongchen was in a swamp shrouded in black fogs. While enduring the stench that made him want to puke, he yelled, Junior Master, where are you? Junior Master. If Ji Yu Dongchen knew that his Junior Master was hugging and kissing a pretty girl and enjoying the tender and flirtatious grace of an empress, he would definitely be angered to the point of vomiting bile. Chapter 482, A Land with Ice and Snow. Chen Shang greedily sucked the fragrant saliva in Lu Menger's mouth and intertwined with her soft tongue. One of his hands unobediently moved onto Lu Menger's breast and gently kneaded around the firm, white rabbit, through her thin white clothes. Lu Menger felt her sensitive part being pinched by Chen Shang, which made her tremble. Meanwhile, Chen Zhang's other hand was hugging her tightly, preventing her from escaping. At first, Lu Menger struggled a little bit, but when she thought about how her relationship with Chen Shang had already developed to this point, not to mention that Chen Shang had seen her pair of beautiful rabbits before, she knew that Chen Shang was enchanted by her proud prided breasts. She sighed in her heart and continued kissing Chen Shang. At the same time, she let out an extremely weak moan. This made Chen Shang unable to control himself. Some part of his body had grown up, and his hand was unrestrainedly kneading the huge, soft, rabbits, and kneaded it into various shapes. Occasionally, he would even knead that small tits. The wonderful feeling made him satisfied inside. He would like to keep knead those tits for a lifetime. Lu Menger felt that Chen Zhang's body was getting hotter and hotter, and his force became increasingly larger. She knew that Chen Shang was highly turned on at the moment, while she was worried that they would go overboard if they continued. She was not ready for that kind of things yet. Rascal, it hurts. Lu Menger let out a soft snort and lightly patted Chen Zhang's naughty hand. Although Chen Shang touched her body through her clothes, Lu Menger still felt very shy. She lowered her head, with her face suffusing with an intoxicating red glow. She lightly said, HMPH, I allowed you to touch me while you made me feel so much pain. You really don't know how to cherish a girl. Chen Shang held Lu Menger in his arms and took a few deep breaths. He suppressed the evil fire in his mind. He also knew that they shouldn't go overboard, and he wanted Lu Menjur to follow him properly and not secretly give him her body. He felt that it would let her down. Sister Menjur, I'm sorry. I can't control it for the time being. Chen Shang laughed as he apologized. You must have had enough. Lu Menjur snorted lightly as she laid in Chen Zhang's embrace, feeling the strong manly aura from his body. Not really, Chen Shang answered in honesty. He felt that it would never be enough for him to stroke her body. Lu Menjur pinched Chen Zhang's pectorals with force. You little rascal, you really make me to worry about you. It's great now, since you've offended the fire god shrine. Chen Shang stroked Lu Menjur's beautiful hair as he asked, did Ji Yu Dongchen ask you back to tell him about the fire god shrine? Lu Menjur nodded. He summoned all the powerful magnates in the Chenwu continent to discuss whether they should ally with the fire god shrine, but nothing came of it. In the end, we even made a trip to the king's continent. The fire god shrine is there at present. The fire god shrine invited us to go there. They show their strength, and they are indeed very strong, especially those apprentices. Chen Shang said, the fire god shrine definitely has no good intentions. Right now, they are trying to rope people here in. It won't take a long time before many people join them. They still don't know that I have a fire soul. They used divine sensor to probe me as they saw me for the first time, but they didn't notice it. They are really looking for someone with fire souls. I wonder what the consequences will be if they find out. Lu Menjur was worried because her parents had told her to be careful of the fire god shrine. Just keep hiding. Chen Shang patted her back and said, you don't need to worry about me. If I want to hide, no one will be able to find me. There were too many places that Chen Shang could hide and no one would dare to go even if they knew where he was hiding. Of course, it did not feel good at all to hide. If he had enough strength he could kill anyone who wanted to take his life. Lu Menjur kissed Chen Zhang's lips and stroked his handsome face. She softly said, even though you're a little rascal, I still don't want to lose you. Chen Shang suddenly pinched the pink lotus on her breast and said with a naughty smile, with a beautiful girl like you, I must not die. Lu Menjur let out a groan and slapped away Chen Zhang's bad hand. Let's find the white tiger divine weapon first. Now, take out your two divine weapons. Chen Shang nodded his head and called out the azure dragon subduing devil saber. The august golden black tortoise armor also appeared on his body, making him appear to be extremely domineering and handsome and causing Lu Menjur to be dumbfounded as her beautiful eyes flashed with splendor. The last time she felt complicated emotions on Chen Shang was as he put on the black tortoise armor. Now she realized that she fell in love to him at that time. Lu Menjur laughed lightly, little rascal, you really looks like a man when you wear this armor. As she spoke, the vermilion bird string appeared in her hand, and the countless strands melded together and turned into a fluttering ribbon. As the three divine weapons approached, Chen Shang and Lu Menjur immediately sensed that there was something summoning them from a direction, and that was location of white tiger divine weapon. After finding out the direction, they were all very happy. They put away their divine weapons and advanced towards that direction. Flying in the sky is too eye-catching. This white tiger profound realm is definitely not so simple. Right now, both you and I are being closely watched by the fire god shrine, so we better walk on land. Lu Menjur said. Sister Menjur, can you teach me your Frostwind divine exercise? Chen Shang asked, because Bai Yuyu was very suitable to learn this divine exercise, and she was really eager to get it. Of course, Lu Menjur responded. Chen Shang and Bai Yuyu were both surprised that Lu Menjur could agree so readily. Both Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao were very joyful. Su Meiyao knew that Bai Yu would become even stronger after learning this divine exercise. Originally, she thought that Bai Yuyu must dissolute her ruthless devil exercise, but out of everyone's expectation that Chen Shang opened up the knot in her heart, then all her emotions and desires came back to her. However, she could not continue cultivating the ruthless devil exercise and could only use other powerful martial arts to make up for it. Remember this well, I'll tell you the chant. It's not much, but it's very profound. It's impossible to understand it without several thousand years of cultivation. Lu Menjur did not ask why Chen Shang wanted to learn it, but she trusted Chen Shang very much, not to mention that the vermilion bird divine exercise that Chen Shang taught her was also very powerful and helped her a lot. Following that, Lu Menjur began to teach Chen Shang the chant, while Chen Shang also carefully memorized it. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu could both hear it. They could only remember it after hearing it only once. There were not many words in the chant and Lu Menjur taught all of it within 5 days. For a divine technique, this was very rare. And during the process of memorizing the chant, there were many things that Chen Shang didn't understand. The frost wind divine exercise was not suitable for him to cultivate, so he did not need to understand it. He knew that Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu could definitely understand it. Chen Shang and Lu Menjie walked very slow. They speeded up their pace only after Chen Shang learned the frost wind divine exercise. After crossing a high mountain, they saw endless snow mountains in front of them. Those mountains were covered in white snow and filled with freezing cold, and the cold wind would blow over accompanied by a wave of cold killing intent. Suddenly, Bai Junjun, who was in Chen Zhang's Zon Beast bag, let out a roar, "Master, I feel that this place is very amicable. I feel like I have a companion here." The companion of a white tiger was, of course, another white tiger. Could it be that a white tiger tribe resided within the white tiger profound realm? Chapter 483, The White Tiger Battle Clan. C-483 The White Tiger Battle Clan. Chen Shang took out the Zon Beast bag and released Bai Junjun out. Lu Menjie was surprised as she saw Chen Shang releasing a white tiger. She could tell that the white tiger was very powerful and would soon be promoted to a Zon Beast. "Junjun, can you take us there?" Chen Shang asked the white tiger with his divine sense. He guessed that the white tiger divine weapon must have something to do with the white tiger clan. It was very likely that the white tiger divine weapon was being protected by them. Bai Junjun nodded and said, "Master, don't worry. When you get there, I will ask them not attack you. The white tiger clan here thinks highly of their companions. You are my master, so they won't kill you. Because I will follow you if you die." Chen Shang was secretly worried in his heart. However, he still believed in Bai Junjun's words. "My parents might be here as well," Bai Junjun said with some scary, then ran forward. It was obvious that she missed her parents very much. Chen Shang dragged Lu Menjie and flew away. Lu Menjie asked, "Looks like the Zon Beast bag was created by me. I gave it to a goblin called Hua Shangyu. How come it is in your hands now, and you even subdued a small white tiger within it?" "Shangyu brought me to subdue it. That was a long time ago," Chen Shang said. "Heh, you actually have so many secrets with Hua Shangyu," Lu Menjie said in jealousy. Then she asked, "At the last hero assemble, there were two powerful white tigers suddenly coming out. Did you bring them there?" "Yep, it was indeed me. Now this little guy really misses her parents. I hope her parents don't beat her up when the time comes," Chen Shang said nervously. Lu Menjie frowned and said, "You rascal really got guts, that you even dare to subdue a small white tiger with such strength. This little white tiger must have an extraordinary bloodline. A white tiger that could reach the peak of the Nirvana realm definitely isn't an ordinary one. Even your crazy master has to be wary of that strength." Chen Shang certainly knew that, but he wasn't afraid. In any case, it was the little white tiger that willingly followed him. Of course, the fact that Chen Shang could subdue such a white tiger with pure and noble bloodline also shocked Lu Menjie. This kind of white tiger wasn't something that could be easily subdued. "This little guy said there is a gathering place for the white tiger clan in the front. The white tiger divine weapon is likely to be there. No matter what, we have to check it out. If anything happens, be careful, Sister Menjie," Chen Shang said. Don't worry." Lu Menjie was very confident in her own strength. Moreover, she also had a powerful divine weapon right now. She believed that vermilion bird string could definitely hold off a large group of strong practitioners. Just as they descended the mountain and stepped into the land of ice and snow, they felt two terrifying auras of killing intent. A middle-aged man and woman wearing white tiger skins suddenly descended from the sky and radiated dense killing intent. Lu Menjie was startled. They were the white tiger couple that she had met in the last hero assemble. Their strength was formidable. After the white tiger couple landed on the ground, they hurriedly hugged Bai Junjun. She was their daughter that they had been searching for a long time without any result. At this moment, Bai Junjun let out a low roar, and her roar was filled with infinite yearning. After that, the white tiger couple looked at Chen Shang and Lu Menjie with killing intent. However, just after a blink of eyes that brief the killing intent disappeared. "Did you save our daughter?" The middle-aged woman spoke with a stiff voice and her eyes filled with gratitude. Although she wasn't very beautiful, she had a very imposing aura, which made her appear to be extremely noble and dignified. Chen Shang knew that Bai Junjun must have lied to her parents. "It's just a small matter," Chen Shang hurriedly replied with a smile. "You even signed a contract with my daughter." The valiant-looking middle-aged man stared at Chen Shang, causing him to feel a lot of pressure. Chen Shang nodded. She volunteered. "I know. The middle-aged man said, but I don't want my daughter to be controlled by humans. You're here to look for the white tiger divine weapon, right? Quote. Chen Shang breathed a sigh of relief and nodded, exactly. Not everyone can come here to take the divine weapon. Only the one who is approved by the god can do that. The middle-aged woman said. The god that the white tiger spoke of was the white tiger god. Chen Shang heard from Long Shui earlier that the azure dragon subduing devil saber was related to the azure dragon, so the white tiger divine weapon was naturally the same. Chen Shang lightly breathed in, while his heart of slaughter began to vibrate. An aura of killing intent bursted out from his body. The white tiger couple nodded their heads and said, you have passed the first stage. What about you? The middle-aged woman looked at Lu Menger and asked with a gentle voice. Perhaps it was because they were both women. I came with him, Lu Menger said. Then come with me. The middle-aged man turned around and released a wave of energy. He lifted Bai Junjun up then flew towards a snow-white mountain. It did not take long that Chen Shang and Lu Menger arrived at an ice field with the white tiger couple. There were many houses made of ice. After Chen Shang and Lu Menger arrived, many people were appealed and came out to watch. There were men, women, elders and children among these people. They all carried killing intents with them. That was the unique aura of white tigers. They were all transformed from white tigers. Beasts that could transform were all in the Nirvana realm. Now, Chen Shang saw that there were at least 200 people around him. When the middle-aged man saw the astonished expressions of Chen Shang and Lu Menger, he said, we are pure-blood white tigers and we were born in the human form. Our daughter is only one that turned to white tiger form just after she was born. We still don't know the reason of it. So it is. Have you been here to protect the white tiger divine weapon? Chen Shang asked. This is the mission God left us. We don't know how long we have been waiting. Although there were a few people coming here, none of them were able to take the divine weapon in the end. The middle-aged man sighed. It was obvious that he held a high position here. Chen Shang and Lu Menger followed them into a rather large ice house, while Bai Junjun was taken away by the middle-aged woman. Chen Shang knew that he might lose this little white tiger, so he secretly felt pity. After waiting for a while, a sturdy old man with a long beard walked in. He was wearing the same white tiger skin as the others did here. His face was full of gentleness without any killing intent, but it gave Chen Shang and Lu Menger an indescribable terror. This old man was very strong. My name is Bai Zan. I am the chief of the White Tiger Battle Clan. The old man said with a smile. Although his eyes were very benevolent, Chen Shang and Lu Menger were scared and felt their hairs standing on when they saw his eyes. My name is Chen Shang. I'm here to take the White Tiger divine weapon. She came with me. Bai Zan stroked his long beard and frowned. This lady should be Lu Menger of the divine weapon sect. I didn't predict that you could obtain the divine vermilion bird weapon. That is really strange. Chapter 484, Prophet of the White Tiger Battle Clan. C-484 Prophet of the White Tiger Battle Clan. Out of everyone's expectation, Bai Zan knew Lu Menger. This made both Chen Shang and Lu Menger to be surprised. I have been to the outside world before, and closest Chenwu continent is my most frequently going place. Bai Zan smiled and explained. Chen Shang and Lu Menger already knew that there were hidden strong practitioners in the mortal martial realm. Although those sect headmasters were famous, it did not mean that they were the strongest. There were some strong Nirvana realm masters living in a secluded life. According to the legends, the four symbols divine weapons should belong to the same person, but right now, Lady Lu had the vermilion bird divine weapon, while the little man had the azure dragon divine weapon and the black tortoise divine weapon. Bai Zan asked in confusion. Lu Menger explained, the vermilion bird divine weapon was given to me by my parents when I was very young. I've been carrying it for over 10,000 years. So that's how it is. In that case, you have obtained the approval of the vermilion bird divine weapon. Now, which one of you is going to take the white tiger divine weapon? Bai Zan nodded his head and curiously looked at Chen Shang. He hadn't been out for quite some time, so he naturally didn't know anything about Chen Shang. He only felt that it was strange that a person with mediocre strength actually obtained two of the four symbols divine weapons, and this man got on pretty well with Lu Menger. I'll go, Chen Shang responded. He was cultivating the four symbols divine technique, and he could only obtain the white tiger divine weapon as he used the white tiger true chi. Bai Zan said, if you want to go to the holy land of God War, you must first cancel the contract with that little white tiger, then defeat the future god of war of our White Tiger Battle Clan. Bai Junjun let out a low roar. She clearly didn't want to break the contract with Chen Shang. She wished to stay with him because there would be many delicious dishes for her. If you want to obtain the White Tiger Divine Weapon, you must not have a contract with any member of our White Tiger Battle Clan. Otherwise, the White Tiger Divine Weapon will not approve you. Actually, we have no objection to our White Tiger Battle Clan members being together with humans. Bai Zhan sighed. Chen Shang walked over and rubbed Bai Junjun's head, saying, "Little brat, you should stay here for now. After you turn into a human and become a Zhan beast, you can come to the extreme martial sect to find me." Bai Junjun nodded her hand although she was unwilling to do that. Then a contract pattern appeared between Chen Zhang's eyebrows, and flickered with white light as it entered Bai Junjun's head. In this way, the contract between them was released. Back then, this contract was made by Bai Junjun to show her sincerity to Chen Shang. Once she harmed him, the contract would bound her and cause her death. Our White Tiger Battle Clan is born to be belligerent. There is a holy land of God of War, and the White Tiger Divine Weapon is right there. That place is a restricted area for us, so we can't enter it, and we will not allow others to enter either. Only if you defeat our future God of War and obtain the him approval will you be able to step into the Holy Land. At that time, all of the elders of our White Tiger Battle Clan will leave the Holy Land for you to take away the White Tiger Divine Weapon smoothly." Bai Zhan's words were very clear. The White Tiger Divine Weapon was in the Holy Land of God of War, and he must defeat the future God of War in order to enter the Holy Land. Who is the future God of War? What is his strength like? If he is a Nirvana realm practitioner, how could I defeat it? Chen Shang asked. Bai Zhan took a light breath and said, "Don't worry. The future God of War is the prophet of our White Tiger Battle Clan. I don't know how strong he is, but he will fight you fairly. He is the future God of our White Tiger race. Well, then take me to him. I hope it will be just as what you said." As Chen Shang saw Lu Menjie nodding her head at him, he had no choice but to take a look at the so-called further God of War in the future. "Follow me." Bai Zhan brought Chen Shang and Lu Menjie out of the huge ice house and headed towards a large iceberg in the distance. Bai Zhan didn't walk fast. He said that they show their respect to meet the future God of War, so they couldn't fly over. They could only walk there. This caused Chen Shang to feel depressed. He didn't know how long he would have to walk for. In addition, this place was a world of ice and snow in a vast expanse of white. If he didn't hold Lu Menjie's warm and white hands, he would have definitely complained along the way. The White Tiger Battle Clan should be the direct bloodline of the White Tiger Divine Beast. The White Tiger became the god of slaughter because he was too belligerent, so he was also a god of war. You said you are going to meet your future god of war, could it be that he will reach the level of a divine beast in the future? Su Meiyao said in confusion. Something like the divine beast is usually present in worlds with extremely high levels. There is no divine beasts even in the heavenly realm. Long Shui said, all the dragons of our royal dragon family could become divine beasts, but that would take a very long time. If there really is a future god of war, I think it would be the resurrected White Tiger Divine Beast. Hearing Long Shui's words, Chen Shang and Bai Yuyu were both astonished. The White Tiger Divine Beast could resurrect after death, even in the mortal martial world. All of the 4 divine beasts participated in the refining process of the 4 symbols divine weapons. The Azure Dragon subduing Devil Saber is originally the sacred artifact of our dragon race. It is said that a long time ago, the royal dragon family fought over this sacred artifact, causing the entire heavenly realm to be thrown into chaos. After that, someone hid these 4 divine weapons in order to prevent such things from happening again. Little tramp dragon, what do you mean by resurrecting after death? Will a divine beast still die as it is in such a level? Chen Shang asked curiously. Our royal dragon family has all kinds of legends, and one of them is called Nirvana Rebirth, which especially occurs in those divine beasts. Although they are powerful, they could not prevent from death in fights, so in order to protect themselves, they will retain their consciousness and reincarnate. Chen Shang had also heard of this legend. When he was young, he heard many stories of immortals, that many immortals would reincarnate after death and born in mortal world. After that, they would comprehend the heavenly Tao through cultivation, then regained their immortal status and ascended into the heavenly realm. They had been walking in the land of ice and snow for a long time, and it was late at night. A full moon and stars lit up the ice. Finally they came to a large iceberg, in front of which was a cave. As soon as they arrived, an ordinary-looking young man walked out of the cave. This man was also wearing white tiger skin clothes, and his stature was very big, taller than Chen Shang by a head. His skin was dark, although he had an ordinary appearance, a king's aura dispersed between his eyebrows, which gave even Lu Menger an indescribable pressure. This young man was extremely strong. Chen Qiang and Lu Menger could tell it with a single glance, especially when they saw the intelligent battle intent in the young man's eyes. Both Chen Qiang and Lu Menger were kind of terrified. Prophet, just as Bai Zan said this, the young man waved his hand to interrupt him. Go back to the clan and wait for me. I have already known everything. The young man said. His voice was calm, but there was a hint of majesty in it. Bai Zan respectfully retreated and left in a quick pace. Which one of you wants to take the White Tiger divine weapon? The young man asked. He looked at Lu Menger and then at Chen Qiang. Finally, his gaze landed on their hands that were closely held together. Chapter 485, The God of Slaughter. The strongest person that Chen Qiang had seen in the mortal martial realm was Bai Yuyu's elder sister, Bai Ziqian. But now, he felt that the young man in front of him was much scarier than Bai Ziqian. It's me, Chen Qiang replied. He had no confidence to defeat such a fellow. He felt that he was nothing more than an ant in front of this young man. The young man looked at Lu Menger and smiled. I see. What? Lu Menger knew that this young man had noticed their hands holding together earlier, while the smile on his face was extremely strange, so she could not help but ask in curiosity. The young man said, the vermilion bird string is also called the vermilion bird love string. After you obtained the vermilion bird string, you were touched by this brat, weren't you? And you were even turned on by him. Lu Menger was stunned for a moment. She suddenly understood why she had such an indescribable feeling for Chen Qiang in that very short period, and why she finally fell in love to Chen Qiang. It turned out that it was the vermilion bird string that plagued her, but even so, she believed that it was her feelings that surpassed the vermilion bird string, especially what Chen Qiang did for her, that he let her to take the fire soul, told her details of the nirvana tribulation, gave her incomparably precious spirit medicine, and helped her smoothly survive the nirvana tribulation. Chen Zhang's good intentions were all engraved in her heart, so she didn't think that her emotion would be manipulated by the vermilion bird string. It has nothing to do with it. Even if I don't have the vermilion bird string, I'll still be with him. Lu Menger firmly said. She didn't want Chen Qiang to think that she stayed with him because of the vermilion bird string. This would severely hurt a man's self-esteem. I believe in you. The young man smiled. Chen Qiang clenched Lu Menger's jade-like hands and said to the young man, Are you the White Tiger? There was a trace of surprise in the young man's eyes. He nodded. You got me. You are actually not simple. After confirming the identity of this future god of war, Chen Qiang and Bai Yu were both extremely surprised. It was just as Long Shui said, that the future god of war was the reincarnation of the White Tiger divine beast. Could it be that the White Tiger had died a long time ago? And it actually reincarnated to such a place? Lu Menger quickly thought of something. The legendary 4 divine beasts were not legends at all. They truly existed. If this young man in front of them was called White Tiger, then he must be the legendary White Tiger divine beast, and the god of slaughter. The name of the White Tiger divine weapon is the slaughtering god hand. It's a set of gloves, and if you put it on your hand, you will have extremely horrifying power. It will cause one to be filled with slaughtering intent, and it was refined with my life. I died at that time. The White Tiger said. Although his tone was calm, it was filled with sadness and vicissitudes of life. So, if you want to get the White Tiger divine weapon, you have to defeat me, because that was refined with my previous life. I will fight you with the same cultivation level as yours. It is the early stage of the spiritual martial realm, right? White Tiger asked. Chen Qiang nodded his head. If that was the case, then he had nothing to be afraid of. He would have a high chance of winning if the opponent was in the same level as his. You are not allowed to borrow the strength of that small dragon. The White Tiger supplemented. His requirement made Lu Menger to be confused. However, she immediately thought of the white dragon tattoo on the left side of Chen Zhang's body. Now she remembered that every time Chen Qiang was using an extremely strong power, the white dragon tattoo would shine. She knew that Chen Qiang had many secrets, but she also knew that if Chen Qiang wanted to tell her, she did not need to ask. Well, no problem. Chen Qiang didn't expect him to find that. You can't use any weapons, including your black tortoise armament armor. Every time you are attacked, that thing will always pop out secretly. White Tiger said. Chen Qiang sighed. After all these years, the black tortoise armament armor had indeed helped him block many attacks. However, he was not afraid right now, because his flesh body was also very strong, even without the black tortoise armor. Anything else? Chen Shang asked. That's it. How about you? Do you have any demands on me? White Tiger laughed. Chen Shang was confused. Why did the White Tiger use its own life to make a divine weapon? Were the other divine weapons of the four symbols divine weapons the same as well? Chen Shang shoot his question out. Not the other guys. Just me. Because I am the god of slaughter, there was one guy who could not stand watching. He wanted to bet with me. If I lose, he would refine me into a divine weapon, and in the end, I lose. The White Tiger did not gloss over his failure at all as he talked about it. Unexpectedly, a legendary being like him did not lie for such things. Then why did the four symbols divine weapons appear in the Chenwu continent? Chen Shang asked again. You will find it out later. Now, let's begin to fight at the front. As the White Tiger spoke, he had already walked towards the flat ice field at front. Suddenly, a huge circle of white light appeared, and that was the place where the two of them would duel. Lu Menjie kissed Chen Zhang's cheek and encouraged him, you will definitely win. Chen Shang nodded and followed the White Tiger. Senior White Tiger, the Great War of the Three Realms is coming. Will you come out to help out then? Chen Shang asked. The Chenwu continent would definitely be much safer if such a strong force was with it. No, that's a matter of humans. If you humans unite together, you don't need to fear fiendish demons, nor do you need our help. White Tiger shook his head. This was indeed a matter of humans. The number of humans was many times more than the White Tiger race and the demon beasts. If they couldn't resist the demons, then it could only be caused by the human race's lack of unity. Senior, you are a prophet. Do you know how long it will take before the Great War of the Three Realms comes? Chen Shang asked again. This gave him a sense of security. Around 5 years, very soon. At that time, as long as there are goblins, demons, and humans in this world, there will be a pathway that connects the three independent worlds, together. After that, there will be many worlds with goblins, demons and humans together. White Tiger said. 5 years. To someone who had been cultivating martial arts for a long time, 5 years was extremely fast. Still, Chen Shang had many things to complete before that. For example, he needed to refine a low-rank Earth-level Dan within 3 years, then competed with Elder Dan to refine Dan. After that, he had to refine a large amount of Dan and cultivate 3,000s of true martial realm martial artists, as well as to find 3,000s of golden flying tigers and to build a mysterious and powerful cavalry. 5 years was too short. Even 10 years wasn't enough. Come on, put me down, then you can go to the Holy Land of God of War. At that time, you will be there to fuse with the slaughtering God hand. The White Tiger had his hands behind his back. At this moment, he had a serious expression on his face. He did not think low of Chen Shang. Although the White Tiger was reincarnated, its strength was still very strong. Chen Shang believed that the strength of the White Tiger had long surpassed the human realm. It should be at a level above the heavenly realm. Even if the White Tiger controlled his strength to the early stage of the spiritual martial realm, his flesh body and vigorous true chi were not something that Chen Shang could compare to. However, Chen Shang also had his trump card. Although he was not allowed to use the Azure Dragon subduing Devil Saber or the Black Tortoise armor, he was very confident in himself. He must defeat the God of Slaughter. Chapter 486. You're still too young. Chen Shang discovered that there was a very strong force coming from the ice and a barrier was slowly forming. Quite a number of humans have entered this profound realm. They are all top-notch martial practitioners in the mortal martial realm. I do not wish to lure them over. White Tiger said. Chen Shang was also worried that too many people would come and clash with the White Tiger battle tribe. It would be a huge loss to the mortal world if so many Nirvana realm experts died in one go. I won't turn into a beast form and fight with you. That way, you won't be able to beat me. It could add your chance to win as I fight you in my human form. White Tiger smiled faintly. Chen Shang silently cursed in his heart. His opponent is a reincarnated divine beast with such terrifying strength. Even though it suppressed its cultivation, it still stood in an advantageous position against him. Lu Menjie knew that Chen Shang was very strong, but she was secretly worried. After all, the White Tiger held a huge advantage. Indeed, it was a divine beast. Whatever it had experienced or learned, it would be out of comparison for a mortal like Chen Shang. This White Tiger divine weapon was the last item Chen Shang came for, but it was so difficult to obtain it. Don't be afraid of this big mixed color cat. Although he has a huge advantage, you practice the divine arts and your magic power is also very powerful. Moreover, you can use those devilish arts recklessly. Just call them over on him. Long Shui said. Chen Zhang's magic power was indeed not weak. However, up until now, he could only use his heavenly dragon seal to execute an offensive ability, and it took his time to perform it. Are you ready? Let's start when you are. I'll let you attack first. White Tiger said. Chen Zhang's expression was serious as he shook his head. Wait a little longer. The White Tiger didn't say anything. Chen Shang couldn't use the Azure Dragon Devil Slayer or the Black Tortoise Armament armor, nor could he borrow Long Shui's power. This way, he would lose a lot of his strength. Shui, do your Royal Dragon Clan have any ways to deal with this kind of big white cat? Chen Shang asked. The White Tiger is just like a dragon. There are many of them in the heavenly realm, and they all need to evolve from weak to strong. As for Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird, they are few in number, so they are very difficult to evolve. Our Dragon Clan and the White Tiger Clan had a period of conflict in the heavenly realm. At that time, the Royal Dragon Clan had been searching for the White Tiger's weakness. Upon hearing Long Shui's words, Chen Shang was overjoyed. The weakness is the gold attribute true chi of the White Tiger. And your strongest power right now is fire. The heaven and earth fire could destroy his gold attribute true chi, but only if the quality of his gold true chi is not that much stronger than your heaven and earth fire, or you would be not able to defeat it. The 5 elements countered each other, while fire countered gold. Chen Shang had just obtained the heaven and earth fire soul, allowing him to possess a heaven and earth fire that was several times stronger than the heaven fire. Because it was the heaven and earth flame, it was hidden very deeply within Chen Zhang's body. Even if the White Tiger discovered Long Shui, the little dragon, was attaching to Chen Zhang's body, it would still be unable for it to discover the fire soul within his body. I'm ready. Chen Shang lightly smiled. It was an extremely confident smile. Then come. You possess the yin-yang divine veins, so you should be cultivating the Tai Chi subduing dragon technique, right? I want to try your dragon power. I really miss that force. White Tiger said. Chen Shang laughed. I might disappoint you. Although I can use my dragon power, I don't feel like there's a need to fight you with it. Furthermore, that would be a huge waste for me. Young man sure is arrogant. The White Tiger laughed loudly. Chen Shang did not plan to use his dragon power, which made Lu Menger slightly frown. At this critical moment, Chen Shang was still underestimating his opponent. The heaven and earth true chi was the best oil. If it was poured onto the heaven and earth fire, it would make the fire even more powerful. Right now, Chen Shang was starting to circulate the heaven and earth true chi to fuse it with the fire soul within his body to create the most powerful heaven and earth fire. Chen Shang suddenly shouted in a deep voice. The clothes on his upper body had been torn apart. His muscular body were slightly red and a scorching heat rose up from within him, causing the originally frozen icy ground to heat up, making people feel as if they were being roasted by the blazing sun. Thankfully, there was a powerful barrier on the icy ground. Otherwise, the surrounding ice would have been melted by the heat released by Chen Shang. Not far away, Lu Menger also discovered that the heat released by Chen Shang was extremely terrifying. If it was a flame, then it would be even stronger. A raging fire suddenly appeared on Chen Zhang's fist. Seeing the crazily dancing flames, the White Tiger's pupils abruptly contracted. This kind of fire caused it to feel shocked. It could not imagine that a mortal would possess a flame of this level. Whiz! Chen Shang suddenly leapt. His speed was as fast as a ray of lightning, leaving only afterimages. This was the fastest speed he had ever displayed, and he charged towards the shocked White Tiger in it. The White Tiger was astonished by the speed. Although he knew that Chen Shang was coming towards him, he did not react in time and was unable to dodge. Chen Zhang's fist that was spewing out intense flames was like a meteorite that was burning with flames as it smashed towards the White Tiger's face. It even exploded into a ball of flame that rumbled loudly. Chen Shang didn't stop with just one punch. The other fist followed closely behind. He wanted to seize this opportunity to use this crazy fire fist to strike the White Tiger. Lu Menger was stunned when she saw the continuous explosions of flame fists. She couldn't understand how the flames could have increased so much, especially since she and Chen Shang had only been separated for 2 months. Chen Zhang's punches were very fast and looked as if he had several arms. He was able to punch out dozens of times in a split second, and each punch contained the same amount of power. It even had a suction force, trapping the enemy, making it impossible for them to escape from this storm of punches. The white tiger suddenly roared and an overbearing killing intent surged out. The icy ground trembled and a tyrannical aura exploded from his body, causing Chen Xiang to be knocked flying. Chen Zhang's fist was smoking and his entire body was emitting hot air. His eyes were burning with fury. He was preparing to use his hand as a blade to execute the furious dragon slash. The white tiger had never imagined that it would be beaten to such a sorry state. Chen Xiang had just landed hundreds of blows on its head, and they were all accompanied by extremely intense and terrifying flames that caused the white tiger's hair to hurt. This guy even sealed its own divine sense so that it could only be in the early stage of the spirit martial realm. Long Shui said, it would definitely be discovered if its divine sense was very powerful. That's for the best. Chen Xiang rejoiced in his heart. He clenched his fist and once again ignited the violent flames. The white tiger was certain that Chen Xiang possessed a fire soul, but it couldn't figure out what kind of fire soul Chen Xiang had. It was actually so powerful that even caused it to be afraid. Killing intent enveloped the icy ground, causing Chen Xiang to feel slightly uncomfortable. However, he was not a green hand. He had also cultivated the white tiger divine technique before, and the killing intent he gathered was also very strong. The killing intent released by the white tiger ignited its killing intent and made it to immediately feel full of power. It clenched its fists and fiercely stomped its feet, shaking the icy ground as it flew towards Chen Xiang. You're still too young, Chen Xiang shouted loudly. Two fire vines suddenly leapt out from under the icy ground and very accurately wrapped around the rapidly moving white tiger, then completely dissipating the imposing aura that the white tiger had just gathered. Chapter 487, Thorough Suppression. You're still too young. Hearing these words, the white tiger and Lu Menjie were both shocked as they were struck by lightning. They didn't understand where Chen Xiang got his gut from to dare to say such words in front of a divine beast. However, the white tiger did not expect that Chen Xiang could use such a strange technique, nor did it expect that Chen Zhang's flame would be so powerful that it could suppress its strength. Its gold attribute true qi would be instantly incinerated upon contact with the flame, which substantially reduced its strength. Originally, the white tiger thought that the killing intent it released would suppress Chen Xiang, but he completely ignored it. That killing intent was a type of mental attack. However, Chen Zhang's divine sense was so strong that he was completely fine. Just a moment ago, the white tiger was still full of momentum and intended to defeat Chen Xiang in one go. But now, it was suddenly entangled by Chen Zhang's fire vine. Waves of torching true qi entered his body and devoured the true qi gathered within his body. The fire vine was very strong and could tightly entangle the white tiger. However, Chen Xiang knew that it wouldn't be able to hold on for long, while it could make enough time for him to make his second round of fierce attacks. Under the astonishment of the white tiger, Chen Xiang had already arrived in front of him. Both his arms were like blazing iron blocks, emitting a forceful burning power. Flames would occasionally gush out them. Looking at Chen Zhang's arms that was like axes chopping down, the white tiger was helpless. Right now, it was unable to manipulate the true qi in his body because it was completely restrained by the flames. Besides, Chen Xiang moved very fast, leaving it no chance to react. At this moment, Chen Xiang was seething with fury. The flames of anger were extremely terrifying. He struck out with his palm, then fiercely chopped down on the white tiger's shoulder, just like collapsing mountains and cracking the earth. The furious dragon slash was terrifying, even though it was not performed from the azure subduing dragon demon slayer, and it would be more nimble if Chen Xiang used both his hands. Right now, it still took some more time for the white tiger to break free from the fire vine, but just this little bit of time was enough for him to use hundreds of dragon slashes. Chen Zhang's two arms were like sabers with surging flames. He frantically slashed at the white tiger that was surrounded by fire vines. All the slashes were extremely deadly as they hacked down on the white tiger's upper body. Seeing Chen Zhang's enraged expression, the white tiger was also furious. It was a magnificent divine beast. Even though it was reincarnated, it had never been so aggrieved, but now it was actually provoked by a mere mortal, time by time. The face of the white tiger was red and swollen. The upper half of its body was burnt by Chen Zhang's furious dragon slash. Of course, Chen Xiang knew that his slashes didn't damage the inside of the white tiger. The white tiger's flesh body was extremely terrifying. Such a tyrannical attack that he performed only left a superficial wound on it. When he felt that the white tiger was about to break free from the fire vine, Chen Xiang stopped using furious dragon slash and switched to the heaven-shaking palm. He had struck the white tiger several dozen times in just an instant on its body parts on which it was about to circulate true qi, which successfully dissipated its true qi. In order to prevent itself from being attacked by Chen Xiang, the white tiger let out a roar and bursted all of the all-true qi from its body, which once again shook Chen Xiang away. However, this consumed a lot of his true qi while it did not harm Chen Xiang at all. Even though the white tiger was furious, it was aware clearly that there was a huge gap when it suppressed its cultivation to the same level as that of Chen Xiang. It would have already been beaten to smithereens if its flesh body that it had cultivated from many years did not withstand a large portion of Chen Zhang's attack. In the same cultivation realm, Chen Xiang was invincible. It was the same for others, like the mighty clans, human royal clans and blue blood family were all the same. All of them could not defeat Chen Xiang even if they were stronger than him. Lu Menger's heart jumped instantly when she saw this. She started to suspect that the white tiger's identity was real. At the start of the fight, it was beaten up by Chen Xiang to the point that it couldn't fight back at all. The flames of anger on Chen Zhang's body weakened, but a smile still hung on the corner of his mouth. At this moment, the white tiger seemed to have discovered something, and it suddenly felt a bit cold. The white tiger had been living in this world of ice and snow for many years, but it had never felt cold before, while now it felt as if a wave of cold stream circulated within its body. The icy soul devil dominance. It was a mysterious spiritual attack. After being infused with the icy soul devil dominance, one would feel cold due to a kind of spiritual effect, just like indulging into an illusory magic array. After entering the magic array, one's spirit would be kidnapped, causing his or her five senses to be confused and thinking that everything was real. It's the time to use the bone-melting devil palm. This white tiger's body is very strong, so it should not be able to melt his bones, but it still causes it to suffer a heavy injury. Now its own true qi was sealed and will be quickly consumed. You better consume all its true qi first, then violently beat up its flesh body that is eroded by the icy soul devil dominance until he surrenders. Bai Yu said. What did you do to me? The white tiger was at a loss and hurriedly asked. It was hard for him to imagine a person using such a powerful flame to attack him, yet he was able to send a strange cold energy into its body. These were two extremes of strength. Although they could be used at the same time, it was extremely difficult for them to be used in such a secretive way as Chen Xiang did. As Lu Menger saw the white tiger trembling slightly, she knew that Chen Xiang had used that strange technique again. Last time when Chen Xiang was in Fragrant City, he used exactly the same 10 technique against Xiao Chou, a mighty clan member. Even though she was separated by a barrier and far away from Chen Xiang, she could feel the intense heat but was unable to sense the icy cold energy. The cold power that was able to freeze the white tiger was clearly much stronger than the flame that Chen Xiang used earlier. However, Chen Xiang used it without leaving a trace, which let people be confused since it was totally against normalities. Of course, Chen Xiang didn't use the icy cold energy. He was only executing a close-range attack. He deceived people's spirit and made them feel that they were frozenly cold. The white tiger thought that it was a divine beast, so it was so confident that it sealed its divine sense into merely the level of an early stage of the spiritual martial realm, whereas Chen Xiang cultivated the divine path, so his divine sense was far above the early stage of the spiritual martial realm. In this way, he managed to perform the icy soul devil dominance and caused a spiritual, lethal attack on the white tiger. However, the white tiger still didn't know that its spirit was under attack because it didn't think that Chen Zhang's divine sense was much stronger than its. I told you, you are still too young. Chen Xiang laughed as he leapt forward. A pair of flaming wings suddenly appeared on his shoulder and accelerated his speed, causing him to fly over with a violent impacting force. Although the white tiger was cold, it was free to use its true qi. This time it was prepared as it saw Chen Xiang coming to it. It took out its fists, which were a pair of white tiger fists. Waves of tiger roars came out of these two tyrannical fists, defending Chen Zhang's flaming attack. As the four fists collided with each other, the wind and clouds flight out in the air. The white tiger was stunned and its expression changed as it trembled in fear. Moreover, both of its arms were also in extreme pain, which forced it to hurriedly retreat. Chen Xiang not only released the icy soul devil dominance on his fists, but also the force of bone-melting devil palm that eroded the white tiger's bones. Chapter 488. The Star and Moon Berserk Dragon. Even though the white tiger was able to beat Chen Xiang to fly, the power of the bone-melting devil palm and the icy soul devil dominance that entered its body caused its bones to ache. Its entire body was cold, and Chen Xiang also gave it a strong blow. Just a moment ago, Chen Shang poured a large amount of icy soul devil dominance into the white tiger's body, which made it to feel even colder. This way, the white tiger would be affected and wouldn't be able to exert its strength during the battle. Seeing the white tiger shivering, Chen Shang secretly laughed in his heart. He flew over once again with his palms dancing in the air. Shadow of his palms flew out. The palm wind was like raging waves as it enveloped the white tiger, instantly striking the white tiger in hundreds of times. In that instant, the earth trembled, while the strength of the bone-melting devil palm wreaked havoc on the bones in the white tiger's body. The evil icy soul devil dominance drilled into the white tiger's sea of consciousness and attacked its spirit. Chen Shang used all his full strength and the fastest speed he could get to perform it. In that instant, the white tiger's bones hurt endlessly. Furthermore, the ice-cold feeling made its entire body shiver and its expression turn ugly. The white tiger still had many powerful martial skills that it had not used, but now not only was it unable to use martial skills, it was even unable to circulate its true qi. Chen Zhang's attacks were too fierce and with a power that it had never seen before, which made it to be at a loss as to how to deal with them. White Tiger King Fist. A killing intent burst forth from Chen Zhang's body. Two tiger heads appeared on the surface of his fists that were like thunders as they crazily struck on the white tiger's body. Now, Chen Shang no longer used the palm power of the bone-melting devil palm. Instead, he channeled the icy soul devil dominance to the white tiger. He wanted to freeze it to the point that it was unable to retaliate. If the white tiger did not seal its divine sense, it would definitely know what strange techniques Chen Shang was using. It was only because its divine sense was far inferior to that of Chen Shang that it did not know that this coldness came from his spirit. In addition, the flames that Chen Shang was using terrified it the most. Although afraid of fire, it had never been afraid to such an extent before. Chen Zhang's flame was already so terrifying in this stage, and it would definitely become even stronger in the future. After entering its body, the flames would be able to completely destroy its true qi. The heavy and earth fire, the icy soul devil dominance, and the bone-melting devil palm, Chen Shang used all of them to suppress the white tiger. First, he utilized the heaven and earth fire to suppress the white tiger's gold attribute true qi, then the bone-melting devil palm to make it feel pain all over its body, after which he took the opportunity to infuse the icy soul devil dominance into the white tiger's spirit to slowly wear it down, causing it to gradually lose its advantage, while as it was unable to fight back, it was repressed by Chen Zhang's extremely fast speed and tyrannical attacks. To know your enemies and yourself prevents you from being defeated all the time. Although Chen Shang didn't fully understand the white tiger, he knew that its weakness was its fear of fire. Moreover, it was a reincarnated divine beast, so it though lowly of its component. The white tiger did not take it necessary to know Chen Shang entirely. It discovered that a small dragon was attaching to Chen Zhang's body, and it also forbade Chen Shang to use Long Shui's strength or the black tortoise armament armor. This way, it believed that Chen Zhang's strength would become weaker. White Tiger lost because of this. His true qi might be stronger than that of Chen Shang, while its martial arts might also be stronger. However, when the white tiger was at ease, Chen Shang suppressed it with his fastest speed. This was a tactic. In a martial arts match, it was not a one-sided fight. It was not enough to only use force without a brain. Right now, the white tiger was like a human sandbag, being crazily beaten up by Chen Shang until its face was swollen, whereas Chen Shang would not grant it any mercy. It was hard for him to beat up the white tiger like this, so he wouldn't leave it with any chance to retaliate. Lu Munger let out a breath of relief as she watched Chen Shang beating the white tiger to fly from side to side in trembling. She knew that the victor had been decided. Heaven Tiger Rampage Fist. After Chen Zhang's tiger head fists burning with anger attacked over, a series of explosions rang out and flames shot in all directions. Chen Zhang's fists crazily landed on the white tiger's face. Each punch caused a violent explosion. After tiring himself out, Chen Shang switched to the heaven shaking palm to launch an inhumane attack. If the white tiger was just an ordinary extreme realm cultivator, it would have long been crashed to meat sauce. While the white tiger's body was very strong, although it could not use true qi and was shivering in cold, it was still with consciousness. Chen Shang knew that if he were to continue, the white tiger would be able to disperse the icy soul devil dominance. He steeled his heart and released his magic power, beginning to execute the heavenly dragon seal. He knew that with his current strength, he was unable to make the white tiger with a powerful fleshly body admit defeat. He could only borrow the power of heaven and earth. It was late at night and the sky was full of stars. A full moon was high up in the sky and the spirit chi floating in the sky was very dense. The dense spirit chi in the profound realm made the heavenly dragon seal that Chen Shang casted even stronger. Use the star and moon berserk dragon in the heavenly dragon seal. You could borrow the spirit chi and the power of the stars and moon to summon the star and moon berserk dragon at night. It is very powerful at night, Long Shui said. The heavenly dragon seal was a technique for granting punishment. The most basic thing about it was to release the true chi in one's body, then to use his or her magic power to silently condense the spirit chi in the air to form a dragon claw, which could then be released a little bit stronger furious dragon punishment. It was the best technique to use in a raging state. The last thing necessary to do was to summon dragons with different energy natures to take punishment. Chen Shang had previously performed the demon subduing holy dragon to deal with a demon when he was in the king's continent. It was at night at present, so it would be the best choice for him to summon the star and moon berserk dragon. Chen Shang began to chant the spell. His powerful mana was released and floated in the air, forming a huge net that compressed all of the spirit chi there. At the same time, it also absorbed the power of the lights of the stars and moon, converging to a glowing spiral disk in the air. It was extremely beautiful, but that power caused the icy plane to slightly tremble. It was not the first time that Lu Menjie saw Chen Shang using some strange and powerful martial arts, but she was still stunned in this time. In the sky above the ice field, the huge spiral disks that covered a circumference of over 100 miles seemed to be formed from countless lights that converged together like galaxies. The power of the stars and the moon gathered together, colliding with each other, fusing, and then clashing. Terrifying waves of power burst out and spun rapidly in the air. The pressure formed by this power had caused many huge icebergs to collapse. The ice ground ruptured and the earth was shaking. Chen Shang watched as the spiral disk above grew bigger and bigger. It resembled the Milky Way in the summer. He was also extremely stunned as he saw it himself. Is this the heavenly dragon seal? The white tiger let out a cry of surprise. It now understood why it felt an indescribable chill. It was a spiritual attack. When it saw Chen Shang use his divine techniques, it was aware that Chen Shang cultivated divine path, while his divine sense was far beyond that of an ordinary person. The star and moon berserk dragon. After Chen Shang finished chanting the spell, he was extremely excited. The huge glowing disc in the sky condensed into a gigantic dragon that appeared to be made of starlight. It flew for a while in the sky before letting out a loud roar and crashing into the ground. Chen Shang hurriedly dodged. He took all the true chi in his body to release fire vines to tightly wrap around the white tiger, preventing it from moving. HMPH. The white tiger let out a cold snort, and the fire vines on its body immediately exploded. With a wave of its hand, a huge tiger forming from white lights flew out and crashed toward the star and moon berserk dragon. The dragon and tiger collided and instantly exploded, generating a burst of light that illuminated the night sky, as if it was day. You win, the white tiger sighed. It was forced by Chen Shang to use its true strength to destroy the star and moon berserk dragon in the end, which made it feel much better. Chapter 489, A Crisis Before the Divine Weapon. The white tiger removed the power that was sealing its strength, which allowed it to recover its strength to the original state. Only then would it be able to easily defeat the star and moon berserk dragon that Chen Shang released. This caused Chen Shang to feel extremely displeased. He really wanted to see the white tiger being beaten to a pulp. It took him a lot of magic power to condense it. Seeing that the white tiger had admitted defeat, Lu Menjie blinked her beautiful eyes at Chen Shang. However, the shocking scene of Chen Shang summoning the star and moon berserk dragon still lingered in her mind. After regaining its strength, the white tiger easily dispelled the icy soul devil dominance that affected its spirit. You win. The white tiger divine weapon is yours. The white tiger said, with a non-coverable relentlessness in its eyes. It was the white tiger divine beast, while it was actually beaten up by a little brat to such a miserable state. Moreover, the little brat held a great advantage. Its face would probably fall if such words were leaked out. Chen Shang smiled and asked, "Where is the white tiger divine weapon?" "It's in the holy land of God of War. I cannot get close to that place. Once I get close, that white tiger divine weapon will return to me. At that time, it will be very difficult to take it down. Unless you could fuse with it, I cannot get close to it." The white tiger sighed, "You will get the reputation of God of War when you can actually defeat me in the future. Didn't I just defeat you in a real sense?" Chen Shang smiled and said, "Senior White Tiger has a great advantage. If it wasn't for your powerful flesh body, I would have already finished my business." Hearing Chen Zhang's words, the white tiger couldn't help but blush as it flew away. Pass through the cave and you will reach the Holy Land. The white tiger's words echoed in Chen Zhang's ears, causing him and Lu Menjie to laugh. Lu Menjie flew to Chen Zhang's side and helped him put on his clothes. After that, she wiped off the sweat on his face as well as the blood on the corner of his mouth. You brat really made it Lu's face. It is the white tiger divine beast. Lu Menjie said with smile. Although she said so, she was secretly proud in her heart because Chen Shang was her beloved. Chen Shang kissed her face and pulled her towards the cave. I did not expect that the white tiger divine weapon is called the hand of God of slaughter. It doesn't have any similarities with the names of the Azure Dragon Demon Subduing Slayer, Vermilion Bird Strings or in Black Tortoise Armament Armor. The white tiger said that it is a pair of gloves. If you wear them on your hand, you would be very strong when you use your fist and palm to attack. Chen Shang displayed a mischievous smile on his face. Lu Menjie wrinkled her nose and snorted, "Little rascal, you sure have a lot of underhanded tactics. That white tiger was completely disgraced by your underhanded methods and lost so badly." Chen Shang laughed, "I'm fair and square. If I use all of my underhanded techniques, then this big white cat will lose even more miserably." Lu Menjie knew that there were many secrets on him, but she didn't ask too many questions. She also had her own secrets, and Chen Shang didn't ask her anything. They two had a strong mutual trust. I feel that something miraculous might happen if the four symbols divine weapon are on the same person. Now that you don't have the vermilion bird strings, it would be great if I could take it off. Lu Menjie said with guilt as she bit her lips. Hee, Sister Menjie, you just need to refine one more in the future. Anyway, it is just a refining process. I believe that Sister Menjie will definitely be able to make it. Chen Shang smiled. Although this was only a matter of lack of perfection, Chen Shang was very contented, not to mention that it was also a good thing that the vermilion bird strings was on Lu Menjie's hand. It could add her strength significantly. Lu Menjie lightly nodded her head. What Chen Shang said was also her future goal, which was to refine a vermilion bird divine weapon so that Chen Shang could gather all the four symbols divine weapon. However, she knew that it would take a long time. After they entered the cave, they walked for over an hour to pass through the huge iceberg, then arrived at a verdant forest, which shocked them a lot, since they were in a world of ice and snow a moment ago. Walking out of the cave, they saw a path paved with stone. At the end of the path, there was a huge round platform, like an altar, built in the middle of the forest. Lu Menjie pulled Chen Shang along and crossed the long stone path in a flash, then they arrived at the round platform, beside which there was a round table. On the table was a transparent crystal box. Inside the crystal box was a pair of gloves that seemed to be made of tiger skin. It was the kind that could show one's fingers. This was the white tiger divine weapon, the hand of God of slaughter. Just when Chen Shang was about to grab it, a very powerful force suddenly flew towards him. Lu Menjie's expression changed drastically as she hastily waved her palm. Her hand was filled with an ice-cold energy as she slapped away the force attacking Chen Shang. However, Chen Shang and Lu Menjie were blown off the round platform by the blast of air. Haha, the white tiger divine weapon. This is the white tiger divine weapon. This place is indeed the white tiger profound realm. As long as I obtain this white tiger divine weapon and kill this brat and the woman, I can also obtain this woman's fire soul and that brat's azure dragon demon subduing slayer. Haha, a middle-aged man wearing red armor laughed crazily. He was a member of the fire god shrine. Not only that, but he was very powerful. He was a martial artist that had survived the 8 Nirvana tribulations. Moreover, it could be known from the scorching hot energy he just released that he was a person with a fire soul. Although Lu Menjie had cultivated the Frostwind divine technique, she could only barely defend against him. It was impossible for her to defeat the man. As long as I get all these, the position of the Hall Master will be mine. The middle-aged man of the Fire God Shrine laughed maniacally as he hurriedly grabbed the white tiger divine weapon. At this moment, Lu Menjie unleashed a wave of ice-cold energy, then a gust of cold wind blew over from all directions, transforming into numerous sharp ice thorns that pierced towards the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man sneered, "If I were you guys, I'd think of a way to escape now." As he discoursed, he shattered the ice thorns with a single palm strike, while the cold energy still lingered on the middle-aged man's body after the ice thorns shattered. Lu Menjie flashed forward and shot out her beautiful palms. Waves of cold true chi flew out from her palms and instantly covered the entire forest in a layer of frost. A thick layer of ice also covered the man of the Fire God Shrine. "Go, leave him to me." Lu Menjie quickly said with a serious face. She could easily escape as long as Chen Shang made to leave. Furthermore, it was not necessary for Chen Shang to flee too far. He just needed to pass through the iceberg. At that time, the white tiger would definitely take actions. Haha, the middle-aged man laughed. Lu Menjie, your Frostwind divine technique is indeed very powerful, but it's still far from being able to deal with me. This brat can go, but you must die. The ice on the middle-aged man suddenly cracked open. After that, Lu Menjie quickly flew over and pushed on the ice on the middle-aged man's body, then the cracks on the ice closed up again. Go, Lu Menjie shouted out as she gritted her teeth, with a sense of request within her eyes. She knew that Chen Shang had a prospect future ahead of him, so he definitely couldn't die here. Seeing Lu Menjie in such a state, Chen Shang knew that she spent up a huge amount of true qi to use the Frostwind divine technique to freeze the middle-aged man to give him time to escape. Use the demon devouring technique to devour that guy. Bai Yuyu knew Chen Shang well enough that he would not leave Lu Menjie alone. Chapter 490, Counterattack. Bai Yuyu had warned Chen Shang many times that he absolutely could not use the demon devouring technique on people who were much stronger than him. Chen Shang was only at the early spirit martial realm, and he still needed to consolidate his cultivation, not to improve it quickly in a short period of time, but now he was attempting to devour a martial artist who survived the 8 nirvana tribulations. This frantic action left Chen Shang confused, but he knew that Bai Yuyu definitely wouldn't harm him. Bai Yuyu must have other purposes to let him act in this way. Right now, Chen Shang couldn't consider too much. He would rather die himself than leave Lu Menjie behind. Seeing Chen Shang rushing over, Lu Menjie closed her eyes as 2 streams of tears rolled down her face. She knew that Chen Shang would rush over. She had some hopes for that, but most of all, she hoped that Chen Shang would just leave. Chen Shang placed one hand on the ice and released his magic power into the frozen middle-aged man's body. After feeling the thick true qi in his dantian, he started to circulate the demon devouring technique. It had been a long time since he last used it. Haha, what an idiot boy, the middle-aged man laughed crazily. It would be very troublesome for him in the future if Chen Shang left away. But now, he could notice that Lu Menjie, the female emperor of a generation, had an unfathomable relationship with this brat, Chen Shang. Haha, the middle-aged man let out waves of frantic laugh even if he was frozen in a block of ice. He knew that Lu Menjie wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. As long as he could wait for Lu Menjie to use up her energy, he would be readily able to kill Chen Shang and Lu Menjie in one go. Suddenly, the middle-aged man's laughter came to a halt as he felt the true qi within his body was rapidly dissipating. The speed at which the true qi was being drained made him extremely terrified. He suddenly looked towards Chen Shang, only to see his body swelling up. The middle-aged man realized that Chen Shang was using an unknown martial art to devour his power. Hurry up and transfer your devoured power to Lu Menjie, otherwise, your body will explode and you will die. Bai Yuyu hurriedly shouted. After hearing the words, Chen Shang was ecstatic. He quickly pressed his hand on Lu Menjie's abdomen, allowing the middle-aged man's true qi to flow through him and infuse into Lu Menjie's body. Sister Menjie, be quick, circulate your power and refine it. Chen Shang shouted in a hurry. When Lu Menjie felt the steady stream of true qi from Chen Zhang's palm, her heart skipped a beat. She quickly understood what had happened. The previously despairing her secretly let out a sigh of relief. Demon, Chen Shang, you evil demon, stop it now. For the middle-aged man, it was the most terrifying thing that his power was devoured. He would be no different from a mortal once his own power was devoured up. That middle-aged man was extremely shocked. This kind of martial arts that could devour other people's martial arts was indeed a demonic art. Of course, it was also a martial arts that many people dreamed of, because it allowed them to obtain power without taking any effort. Lu Menjie was also astonished as she heard that Chen Shang had such a demonic art. She was originally happy, but her expression suddenly changed because of Chen Zhang's abnormally ugly expression. She could see that Chen Zhang's face was covered in wounds. Chen Zhang's body was currently expanding. He let out a muffled cry as his clothes suddenly shattered. His valiant body expanded to a terrifying size, as if it was going to split open. Streaks of blood appeared as blood seeped out from his pores. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Menjie could know without thinking that it was because of the endless supply of true qi that caused Chen Shang to act like this. After all, it was the true qi of a man who had survived the 8 nirvana tribulations. The quality was pretty fine. Although Chen Shang had a strong flesh body, it was hard for him to withstand it. Little rascal, Lu Menger bit her red lips. Her face was full of worry and her eyes were filled with tears. Seeing Chen Shang in such pain, her heart felt as if it was being cut by a knife. I'm fine, don't worry. Chen Shang didn't want Lu Menger to be too worried, so he forced a smile. Seeing the forced smile on his face, Lu Menger's heart broke and tears fell from her eyes. Chen Shang immediately circulated the black tortoise body strengthening technique to conduct cultivation using this pain. This way, no matter how much pain he suffered, his body would not be destroyed with the help of the black tortoise body strengthening technique. This was the magic part of this technique. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. The middle-aged man whose power was swallowed by Chen Shang was extremely anxious. Originally, he did not expect that Chen Shang would be able to hold on much longer before his body exploded. However, now he saw the streaks of blood on Chen Zhang's body slowly recovered, which meant that Chen Shang had adapted to it in a short period of time. This brat was so formidable. The beneficiary of it was Lu Menger. The power that passed through Chen Zhang's body was refined by his heaven and earth fire soul and became purer, so that Lu Menger could easily refine it into her own true qi and store it in her dantian after she received such purified power. Hee, you also have a fire soul on you, right? And it's a purple fire soul, haha, Chen Shang suddenly laughed. Still, his laughter was extremely ugly because he was suffering from the pain just like being stabbed by needles all over his body. The middle-aged man was like being whipped on his face. He originally planned to kill them and take Lu Menger's fire soul, but now, not only was his strength devoured by Chen Shang, his prided purple fire soul might also be taken from him. Demon, you evil creatures, you will all die a horrible way. The middle-aged man roared crazily, whereas his voice was completely covered by the thick layer of ice. Then Chen Shang penetrated his hands through the layer of ice and pressed down on the middle-aged man's stomach, crazily devouring everything of him. To this point, Lu Menger had no choice but to refine the power that Chen Shang gave her. This was in exchange for Chen Zhang's incomparable pain, so she treasured it even more. She knew that she was in debt to Chen Shang once again, and she didn't know how to repay him in the future. The power of those who survived the 8 Nirvana tribulations was extremely profound. Chen Shang had devoured 10 days in a row. That middle-aged man only had a haggard expression on his face, while no one came during these 10 days. Lu Menger would rather have someone come here to help her than to acquire those power. She cared more about Chen Shang. The pain he had endured for the past 10 days was clear in her eyes and her soul. I'm fine. Chen Shang forced a smile as he saw Lu Menger's eyes filling with tears. Her eyes had cried to red for the past 10 days. Only now did Chen Shang know why women were made of water, but the awkward thing was that he was completely naked, because his body would occasionally swell and explode with a burst of energy. Even if he wore clothes, it would shatter, while to release the black tortoise armament armor would block his meridians and impact him on transferring power into Lu Menger. Therefore, Lu Menger had watched every part of Chen Zhang's body for the 10 days. Although she was very shy, she could not help but look at it because she was worried that an accident would happen to Chen Shang at any time. Of course, it was the first time she saw a man who was completely naked. At the beginning it made her very shy, but later on she felt that a man without any clothes was actually that attractive, especially a man she loved. If it weren't for the pain all over his body, Chen Shang would definitely tease Lu Menger with some words, but the pain prevented him from assuming that idea. Chapter 491. The incomparable charm of the Lady Emperor. The process of devouring lasted for a very long time. This was also because Chen Zhang's skill and body were not powerful enough. Otherwise, the devouring process would be carried out very fast. Of course, he was currently devouring an expert whose strength was many times stronger than his. It was already good enough that he didn't die from it. Lu Menger's Frostwind divine art was also very powerful. Otherwise, she would have not frozen a martial artist who was a lot stronger than her. Although the frozen duration would be short and consumed a lot of her true qi, it gave Chen Shang a chance to use the demon devouring art. In the meanwhile, Lu Menger was refining the pure true qi that Chen Shang transmitted to her, which allowed her gradually enhance her true qi. The pure true qi source was endless, so she could continuously use the Frostwind divine art to freeze the middle-aged man of the fire god shrine. Moreover, as Chen Shang gradually devoured the man's true qi, his strength had weakened a lot, hence Lu Menger did not need to use too much ice-cold energy to freeze him. In the blink of an eye, 20 days had passed. Although Chen Shang was enduring the pain, his physical body and divine sense had both increased by a stage. His immortal and demon body had reached the 19th stage and his soul was around the age of 19. Very quickly, it would finish the growth phase. By then, he would be able to use the god traveling in the 9 heavens art. The middle-aged man of the fire god shrine had substantial amount of his power being devoured. He became extremely weak and his voice was hoarse. If he knew that Chen Shang had such a demonic art, he wouldn't have come even if he were coerced. Right now, he could only regret his actions and hated Chen Shang, but he had no way to break free. Kid, even if I die, I will drag you down to hell with me. The middle-aged man suddenly let out a harsh laugh, causing Chen Zhang's expression to change, because he suddenly felt that more and more power was surging into his body, while the middle-aged man's body was slowly drying up as he became extremely old. Haha, I'll inflate you to death. The smile on the middle-aged man's face suddenly disappeared. He let out the last wave of true qi of him with the last words and infilled into Chen Zhang's body. Chen Shang roared. Lu Menjie was so anxious that her face was covered in tears. She hurriedly hugged Chen Zhang's swollen body that was filled with fresh blood. Both Chen Zhang's physical body and his consciousness were completely filled up. He would explode to die if the tyrannical power was not to be released. Hold him tightly, then do as I say. Only you can save him now. Lu Menjie, who was at a loss, suddenly heard a melodious and light voice in her mind, which shocked her greatly. Unable to do anything, she hurriedly asked with her divine sense, what method? Hold him, shake his hand, and absorb the raging true qi in his body. I am going to teach you a martial art so that you can absorb the true qi in his body. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang had already lost consciousness. Helpless, she could only communicate with Lu Menjie. Lu Menjie had no time to find out who the woman she was talking to. She immediately did as Su Meiyao said. In order to alleviate Chen Zhang's pain, she took the initiative to kiss him and hardly separated his teeth, so that her soft tongue could tangled with his. Some chants began to emerge in her mind. That was the Tai Chi divine art, one that evolved from Tai Chi subduing dragon art, which the first martial art that Chen Shang practiced. Although it was not as powerful as the Tai Chi subduing dragon art, it was still a divine art. Lu Menjie followed the chants and circulated her true qi to form a suction force that crazily devoured the tyrannical true qi inside Chen Zhang's body. Lu Menjie could tell from the chant that it was extraordinary. Some of it was as profound as her frost wind divine art. She was basically certain that it was definitely a divine art. As power in his body was released, Chen Shang quickly recovered. He felt that Lu Menjie was kissing him, so he took the initiative to cooperate and enjoy the happiness that came after the pain. 3 days later, the middle-aged man's power was basically absorbed by Lu Menjie, but now it was her turn to feel pain all over her body, because the middle-aged man's fire soul had entered her body, which meant she was about to fuse another fire soul. Ah! Lu Menjie shouted, with her face full of pain. Chen Shang sighed slightly and hugged Lu Menjie in his arms. He could only use the same method Lu Menjie used to alleviate her pain. Just like that, the pair of lovebirds tangled together again, painful but happy. It was not a small matter that Lu Menjie fused with another fire soul. She already had a purple fire soul, and now she was going to merge with another purple fire soul, so no one knew the result. During the process of the fusion, Lu Menjie's body began to emit purple flames. If Chen Shang didn't have the heaven and earth flame soul, he would not have been able to endure it anymore. What made him unable to hold was that the white dress of Lu Menjie that was attached by his blood was burnt. The two were both naked and embraced tightly, while kissing each other like beings stick together. This sort of physical contact was unprecedented for the two of them, especially when the malevolent part of Chen Zhang's body touched Lu Menjie's sacred and mysterious place that the two of them felt as if they were electrocuted. No, not yet. Lu Menjie hurriedly used her divine sense to send a message to Chen Shang with a pleading tone. At this moment, she was both shy and anxious. This kind of predicament almost made her lose her ability to think, especially as a hot and big thing pressed on her lower body. Chen Shang lightly replied. He and Lu Menjie had not claimed their relation yet. Normally, they would just be insinuating each other, but if they were to take another step forward, it wouldn't work. This taboo couldn't be broken no matter what. Although Chen Shang promised not to cross the red line, his bad hand slowly touched Lu Menjie's waist as he rubbed the jade-like snow peaks. This time, he didn't touch them outside her clothes. The wonderful feeling almost made him lose consciousness from excitement. Furthermore, he could not stop. He used both his hands to stroke her snow-white, beautiful breasts greedily. Lu Menjie was extremely shy. However, she did not stop him as she recalled that Chen Shang had suffered so much before. Instead, she hugged his muscular waist, kissing him while allowing him to play with her proud snow rabbits avariciously. Of course, this made Chen Zhang's evil fire even more intense, making him feel even worse. He really wanted to do everything he could to vent, but right now, Lu Menjie was fusing her fire soul. If there was any accident on her, he would never forgive himself, so he had to endure it. Such endurance made him feel more painful than he did when he devoured the man's power. It was more suffering. What made Chen Shang feel gratified was that he could unscrupulously stroke the pair of her long-loved rabbits. Sometimes, he would rub them vigorously, and at other times, he would lightly squeeze the pink lotus seeds, and made Lu Menjie to occasionally let out a soft moan. 3 days later, Lu Menjie successfully merged the fire soul. The first thing she did was quickly put on her clothes. Recalling how Chen Zhang's evil hands had touched her entire body during these 3 days, her face was burning hot. Her vagina were also repeatedly lifted up by Chen Shang, causing her to show embarrassment repetitively and her lower body wet, which made Chen Shang smile evilly. "Hurry up and put on your clothes," Lu Menjie shouted in a charming voice. Her face flushed with an intoxicating shade of red. Chapter 492, Hand of Slaughter of God. After Chen Shang put on his clothes, he smiled mischievously as he looked at Lu Menjie's beautiful face, while glancing at her slender body, causing Lu Menjie to shy and blame him inwardly. Just as he was about to speak, Lu Menjie interrupted him, "Don't mention what just happened." When she thought about the two of them hugging each other naked while her jade rabbits, an entire body were being toyed with by Chen Shang for a long time, Lu Menjie's face immediately flushed, especially when she thought about how embarrassed she was when Chen Shang saw her posture who she was being provoked. Seeing Chen Zhang's naughty smile, Lu Menjie said with a snort, "You're not allowed to think about it anymore. You little rascal, you're so bad." Thinking about Chen Zhang's 2 big hands moving around her beautiful body, Lu Menjie stomped her feet and spat in a low voice, "I knew that when I was with you, I would always be bullied by you." Chen Shang laughed and said, "Sister Menjie, didn't you just enjoy a lot as well?" With that word, he brought Lu Menjie over. Lu Menjie struggled for a moment before sighing helplessly. She lightly punched Chen Shang, then leaning into his embrace and whispering, "Little rascal, how are you right now? Are there any problems within your body?" Chen Shang had channeled so much power into her body, which made her very worried. She felt that she couldn't handle the power herself, let alone Chen Shang. "It's nothing. What about you, Sister Menjie? You are supposed to be much better now." Chen Shang gently caressed Lu Menjie's back as he recalled the 3 days that had passed between him and Lu Menjie, causing his heart to ripple. Although nothing sexual happened, it still gave him an endless aftertaste of what had happened, especially the perfect body of Lu Menjie. His heartbeat would accelerate as he thought of that. Feeling Chen Zhang's heartbeat quicken, Lu Menjie pursed her lips and snorted, "Thank you for letting me have such a great harvest. My fire soul has increased by a lot, so is my strength. I think I will soon start to endure the 8th Nirvana tribulation." That was a man who passed the 8th Nirvana tribulation whose strength was devoured. The dense force had entered Lu Menjie's body and was refined by her. Lu Menjie was also a person who had just passed the 7th Nirvana tribulation, and even she couldn't believe this speed of improvement. Under normal circumstances, it would take at least 1,000 years to achieve the exact level. Chen Shang evilly smiled, "There's no need to be courteous, my harvest is also very great, haha." HMPH. Lu Menjie's face flushed red as she stepped on Chen Shang. The middle-aged man of Fire God Shrine had already turned into a mummy. Lu Menjie had released a flame to burn the corpse. If the Fire God Shrine knew about this, then it would be quite troublesome for them. After what had happened before, Chen Shang and Lu Menjie became even closer. Chen Shang knew that there would be a second time after the first occurrence, and when he thought about how he would be able to enjoy the charm of this peerless Lady Emperor in the future, he became excited inwardly. "Why aren't you getting the White Tiger divine weapon? What are you thinking about?" Lu Menjie resentfully looked at Chen Shang. Her face was flushed as she let out a light breath. She knew that she was destined to be Chen Zhang's person in this life. It tormented her a lot once she thought that she had to face Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan. Chen Shang walked over and released his White Tiger True Qi. With a palm strike, he shattered the crystal box and dripped some blood on the White Tiger gloves. A golden white light exploded and entered Chen Zhang's arms before disappearing. "Haha," Chen Shang laughed aloud. As he worked his mind, that pair of White Tiger gloves appeared on his hands. He could feel the power of the hand of God of Slaughter. He threw a punch at the forest in the distance, not using his true chi, but there was still an extremely strong fist wind that ferociously blew out. In the blink of an eye, waves of huge trees in the forest fell down. It was so formidable even without true chi, then what would happen if he used? If it was coupled with the Azure Dragon subduing Demon Slayer, his strength would be even more unimaginable. Right now, he was itching to try it out. Little rascal, do you often use that kind of martial art to devour people? Lu Menjie asked. She knew that it would be very harmful if he did it frequently. Chen Shang was very happy. After fusing the gloves into his flesh, he came to Lu Menjie and smiled, "Don't worry, I don't use them often now. Besides, I was very particular when I devoured them. I had no other choice at previous times." Thinking about the life-dangerous situation before, Lu Menjie hugged Chen Shang and leaned on his chest. "You have to be careful in the future. Don't let something like this happen again. I'm already worried to death." Chen Shang kissed Lu Menjie's cherry lips, while his evil hands attacked Lu Menjie's chest. This caused Lu Menjie to curse as she chased after Chen Shang. The two of them were playing with each other, but in the end, they still hugged and looked at each other affectionately, just as they were about to kissing. Cough, cough, the white tiger suddenly appeared. Chen Shang cursed in his heart, "Damned big white cat, it doesn't appear when it should, but it appear when it shouldn't." Being discovered that they were intimate, Lu Menjie's face flushed with embarrassment. This was the first time someone had seen her and Chen Shang do this kind of intimate action. "Hee, you guys seem to have encountered some danger earlier, but it seems like you've already solved it all." White Tiger laughed. "Senior God of War, can you send me out, all of the people in this place?" Chen Shang asked. He deliberately stressed on the words God of War, obviously to mock the White Tiger. White Tiger grunted, "Kid, don't think you are invincible just because you win me. In that state, I indeed cannot use my full strength. Wait until you grow to my level, then you can come and have a real fight with me. I didn't establish this White Tiger Profound Realm. After you obtain the Azure Dragon subduing Demon Slayer and the Black Tortoise armament armor, you should know that the four symbols divine weapons are all in Profound Realms. Someone intentionally placed them in these Profound Realms and even modified those realms. Of course I know, but I don't think you'll tell me about that person who did it." Chen Shang said. He guessed that this person had created a path to the core of Earth in the abyss. This person is truly mysterious and ruthless. The White Tiger mysteriously smiled and looked at Lu Menjie. "You will definitely know in the future, and this person will definitely surprise you." Chen Shang was shocked. "Do I know that person?" "No, but I can guarantee that you will be very surprised when you find out who he is." White Tiger laughed. HMPH, purposefully leaving a suspense. Chen Shang crossed his arms in front of his chest and curled his lips. "Senior White Tiger, can you send us out? Or do we have to wait until the big whirlpool opens that we can leave?" Could it be that Lu Menjie was in a hurry to go back and cultivate, stabilize her cultivation, and then prepare for her tribulation? "Of course I can. Even though this profound realm wasn't established by me, I can open a path at any time." As the White Tiger spoke, it raised both its arms high up in the air. The entire White Tiger Profound Realm was suddenly filled with the power of space, and the White Tiger Profound Realm started to tremble slightly. Chapter 493, A Sore Secret. Sensing that the White Tiger Profound Realm was trembling, everyone inside immediately raised head to look in the direction of the spatial energy. They saw that a huge black whirlpool suddenly appeared in the sky, right in the middle of the Profound Realm. "If anyone dare to interrupt me cultivation, I will make sure he stays here forever. There won't be any exception." The White Tiger let out a furious roar and at the same time, it released a threatening pressure from its body with a thick killing intent that enveloped the entire White Tiger Profound Realm. Those Nirvana Realm practitioners were promptly astonished. They knew that there was a very strong fellow concealed within the Profound Realm. Because they were at the Profound Realm, no matter how strong the people inside were, they would not be sucked into the Heavenly Realm. Therefore, they immediately thought that strength of the person who had spoken earlier had already far exceeded the peak of the mortal realm. Such a fellow was not someone they could challenge. Very quickly, Chen Shang and Lu Menjie saw a large group of people suddenly leaping into the sky and flying towards the spatial whirlpool. "Can I come back in the future?" Chen Shang asked. After all, Bai Junjun was still here. They had been staying together for a period of time and had developed feelings for each other. "Come in if you can. I won't drive you away," White Tiger said with a smile. Lu Menjie released the Jade Lotus Frisbee and Chen Shang jumped onto it. The two of them bid farewell to the white tiger and flew up. After reaching the top, Chen Shang suddenly saw Ji Dongchen flying towards him. The current Ji Dongchen was no longer that handsome and elegant headmaster. Instead, he was like a beggar on the street. His body was dirty and his hair disheveled. His face was covered in black mud, while his tattered clothes emitted a foul stench. "Junior Master, how come you are with her?" Ji Dongchen immediately shouted when he saw Lu Menger's jade lotus frisbee. "Little kid, how did you become like this?" Chen Shang covered his nose and asked with a frown. "It is all because I was looking for you, you bastard. I've searched for you for days and nights without stopping, but you are actually with this woman." Ji Dongchen was so angry that his heart was about to explode. He knew about the secret relation between Chen Shang and Lu Menger. Thinking about how Chen Shang was together with such a beauty during the past few days, he almost vomited blood. Ji Dongchen was worried that Chen Shang would die in the Devil Storm. If so, how could he face Huang Jintian? That was why he had desperately searched for him. "Sister Menger, let's go. Just ignore him, he stinks." Chen Shang laughed heartily, causing Ji Dongchen to roar in anger. Lu Menger activated the Jade Lotus Frisbee and flew into the huge black door in the sky. Then, she appeared on the surface of the sea. "Brother Ji, your junior master really have a good luck with women. Now, he must have a relation with Lu Menger. You were striving to find him for those days, but he was with Lu Menger, haha." Even though Lian Yingxiao said so, he was very jealous of Chen Shang. He was also a romantic person and had many women, but there were no women at Lu Menger's level. He felt that a strong woman like Lu Menger was much stronger than his hundreds. Ji Dongchen snorted coldly. "He's my junior master after all, the disciple of that old lunatic. He definitely has some tricks." Lian Yingxiao shook his head and smiled. With a wave of his hand, he released a ball of water that washed Ji Dongchen clean, then they flew away from the White Tiger Profound Realm. The martial artists who entered the realm were all futile, especially the ones who found mineral veins there. Under the might of the White Tiger, they had no choice but to leave. After all, it was not their territory. Although they found a crystal mine, it was still not theirs. Of course, Chen Shang and Lu Menger were the ones who benefited the most. "Little rascal, don't come looking for me in this period of time, you know," Lu Menger said in a low voice as she squeezed his arm. Chen Shang took out the treasure refining manual and smiled. "This is what I promised you. Take it." Lu Menger hurriedly received it and immediately flipped open a few pages. When she saw the contents inside, her beautiful eyes flashed with all sorts of ecstasy. She didn't even know that Chen Zhang's hands had landed on her chest. Feeling her chest being attacked, Lu Menger finally reacted. She quickly patted Chen Zhang's head. "Little rascal, what if others see us? Take your hands back." Lu Menger put away the treasure refining manual. It wouldn't be too late for her to take a look at it in the future. She was also extremely curious about Chen Zhang's situation. Especially when Su Meiyao secretly sent her a voice transmission, she even taught her a powerful cultivation method that benefited her greatly. Knowing that Chen Shang had a mysterious and powerful woman with him, Lu Menger secretly felt jealous. She didn't ask Chen Shang about Su Meiyao. She guessed that it was Chen Zhang's greatest secret. Looking at the naughty smile on Chen Zhang's handsome face, Lu Menger knew that Chen Shang would definitely have quite a few women by his side. As for this, she could only accept it. "Tell me when you're going to transcend the tribulation. I'll do my best to help you." Chen Shang laughed as he stroked Lu Menger's jade-like hand. Feeling that someone was approaching, Lu Menger quickly let go of Chen Zhang's hand. She saw Ji Dongchen riding on a frisbee and coming here. Even Lian Yingxiao was on it. "Follow him back to the extreme martial sect," Lu Menger said reluctantly. Although Chen Shang was always mean to her, she really wanted to be with him. Chen Shang jumped onto Ji Dongchen's frisbee and waved goodbye to Lu Menger. After she flew away, Chen Shang let out a sigh and sat down. "Junior Master, how close are you with her right now?" Ji Dongchen asked in a smile. Lian Yingxiao was also curious. When men and men were together, there was no avoiding this topic. "Get away, what does this have to do with you?" Chen Shang was also cautious about it. He knew that Lian Yingxiao and Ji Dongchen wouldn't reveal it. If they did, it would only increase a little pressure on Lu Menger, while he, Chen Shang, would only be envied by others. "Chen Shang, my daughters have always wanted to meet you, I am wondering." "Forget it, I don't want to call you father-in-law." Chen Shang spread out his hands and smiled. "Sigh, No wonder. With a woman like Lu Menger, there aren't many people that you would like to eye on. Lien Yingxiao sighed. He pursued Lu Menger for many years, only made her mad in the end, after which Lu Menger kept not speaking to him. Chen Shang asked, Senior Lien, is Lien Mingdong your son? Lien Mingdong's identity has always piqued Chen Zhang's curiosity. He always felt that Lien Mingdong was not simple, moreover, he was very similar to Lien Yingxiao. Yes, he is my son, but he hates me. Sigh, it's all my fault for not taking good care of his mother, resulting in her murder. Thus, he left the Lotus Island at a very young age. Quote. What, Lien Mingdong is your son? This brat came to the extreme martial sect very early on. He is much better in every aspect than your other arrogant sons. Now that I think about it, he does look like you. However, he is not as romantic as you. It seems like he doesn't even have a woman. Ji Yu Dongchen was thoroughly surprised. Lien Mingdong was also from the Top-End Martial Academy. As the dean of the Top-End Martial Academy, Ji Yu Dongchen knew the disciples inside very well and had trained them well. Chapter 494, The Power of Creation Part 1. Lien Yingxiao sighed and frowned. Mingdong had been with his mother since he was young. He lives in a humble life and his talent is outstanding. It's just that he hated me, so he decided to refute my material support and left the family. I also know that his is in the extreme martial sect. It pleases me a lot to know that he lives well there. Regarding Lien Mingdong, Lien Yingxiao flew away from the frisbee with a deep consideration. Chen Shang felt that this matter was not simple. However, since that was someone else's family matter, he did not want to ask more this. After returning to the extreme martial sect, Chen Shang quickly returned to the Tai Dan King Hall to see if Wu Qianchen had returned, but he still couldn't find her. He hadn't seen the #1 beauty of the extreme martial sect for a long time. Chen Shang only wanted to give some ingredients to Wu Qianchen to refine Dan. This would not only help Wu Qianchen improve her Dan refining skills, but he would not need to do so himself. It seems now that Lu Menger is about to undergoing her tribulation very soon. I taught her the Tai Chi divine technique, so she will definitely improve faster. Therefore, you better prepare some Wanming Dan for her. Su Meiyao said. Lu Menger taught Chen Shang her frost wind divine technique, allowing Bai Yuyu to benefit greatly. She didn't need to cultivate the relentless demon art to become stronger, so the two sisters was very grateful towards Lu Menger in this area. What, you taught the Tai Chi divine technique to Sister Menger? Chen Shang cried out in alarm because he didn't know about this matter. At that time, you were delirious and your body almost exploded to death. That was why I gave her the Tai Chi divine technique so that she could use it to rapidly absorb the undigestible power within your body. Besides, I am also thanking her for her Frostwind divine technique, which relived my senior sister longtime troubles. Su Meiyao said. If possible, she wanted to make friends with a woman like Lu Menger right now. However, she would definitely have plenty of opportunities in the future. If you have the time, just teach her the icy soul devil dominance to her. Consider it my thanks, Bai Yuyu said. Due to Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu's impart powerful martial arts, as well as Huang Jintian's Tai Chi dragon subduing technique and Long Shui's supreme dragon martial art, he didn't know the value of the sacred art and didn't have any knowledge of its value. However, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were very clear on the fact that the sacred art was not easy to come by. Anyway, she's already your woman. There's nothing for us to worry about. Su Meiyao smiled in a meaning. Everything that happened between Lu Menger and Chen Shang was seen by Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu because they were hidden on top of the mysterious ring. Chen Shang laughed. You guys are really bad. You peek at us to be intimate with each other. Little rascal, I did quite a bit of work for you to take advantage of her. Su Meiyao coquettishly snorted. Hee hee, it'll be great if you let me take advantage of you as well. Chen Shang laughed in a bad smile. After that, he began to imagine. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao were as beautiful as Lu Menger. Beside, each of them had her own characteristics. When he thought about the three noble beauties being carried in his arms, his breath became quicker. Don't let your imagination run wild. Bai Yuyu shouted at him in a serious tone. How could she not know about Chen Shang was thinking of? Hurry up and try out the dragon saliva that you have condensed. It will definitely be different from before. After hearing Bai Yuyu's words, Chen Shang recalled that he now had the heaven and earth fire soul. After using the dragon saliva technique, it would definitely be different. Previously, it was precisely because of the heaven fire soul that he was able to condense the even more powerful golden dragon saliva. No one knew what would happen until Chen Shang tried it out. Chen Shang took a bath and sat on the bed. He started to circulate the dragon saliva technique while simultaneously sensing the heaven and earth fire soul in his body. After the fire soul entered one's bones, blood, and soul, it caused one's flesh and blood to contain a type of very small flame particles. By absorbing spirit qi, these particles would strengthen. The particles in Chen Zhang's heaven fire soul were able to release life force, which allowed Chen Shang to extract life energy from those weak particles to condense the golden dragon saliva as he coordinated it with his dragon saliva technique. The heaven fire soul came from the blazing sun. The energy released by the sun could give birth to all sorts of life forms, but what about the heaven fire soul? What is this? Chen Shang quickly saw the tiny particles of the heaven and earth fire soul. What shocked him was that the particles contained a lot of energy that emitted white rays. These energies did not grow stronger by absorbing true qi, but strengthening on themselves. In order to see more clearly, he focused on observing. Soon, he understood why the white energy could be strengthened spontaneously. This made his breathing quicken with excitement. The white energy was magical. It could split spontaneously into two energy particles of the same mass. After that, the particles could reunite, then resplit and reunite, and become stronger. Sometimes, they could even split into multiple energy particles, then fuse and become stronger. This is self-creation. This is the power of creation. To create it out of thin air. Chen Shang was stunned. He immediately told Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu about his discovery. When they found out, they were also shocked. It seems that your heaven and earth fire soul contains the power of creation. Even without spirit qi, your fire soul will also gradually become stronger and create spirit qi. However, right now it has only just been formed and its creation speed is limited. If it becomes faster in the future, then you will get endless powers. Su Meiyao said. If you use this power of creation to condense dragon saliva, the elixir will definitely grow very fast. Bai Yuyu said. Chen Zhang's progress made her feel extremely gratified. The power of creation might be able to make a leaf grow into a tree, or even produce spirit fruits from a few seeds, so it would not be necessary to plant a tree. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang could not wait making a move. He immediately circulated the dragon saliva technique to extract the power of creation. In just 2 hours, his mouth was already full of this power of creation, and he didn't feel like he was going to use it up at all. He vomited the power of creation into a bottle, making it at least half full. Now let's see how magical it is. Chen Shang was filled with anticipation as he placed the half bottle of power of creation into the ring, allowing Su Meiyao and Bai Yu to try it out in the medicinal garden inside the ring. The power of creation was like clear water, devoid of aura or luster. If Chen Shang had not condensed it, Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao would have thought that it was only half a bottle of clear water. Why don't you try using the green profound fruit? Su Meiyao said as she handed the half bottle of power of creation and a green profound fruit to Chen Shang. Chen Shang cut the green profound fruit into 8 pieces and dripped a drop on top of each of the pieces. After waiting for a moment, the small piece of green profound fruit flesh was instantly wrapped in a white light. The white light slowly grew larger, becoming the size of a head. When the white light disappeared, Chen Shang was astonished, while Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were also stunned. Green profound fruit was only the size of a fist, but the green profound fruit on the table was like a huge watermelon glowing with green light. It could be told from the rich spirit qi that this green profound fruit was in an extremely high quality. This is just a drop. Just a single drop was enough to turn a small piece of green profound fruit into a complete fruit, and it was even as big as a watermelon. Chapter 495. The Power of Creation Part 2. Chen Shang was very happy. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao were also extremely excited inside the ring. I don't need to plant that kind of dane trees anymore in the future, I can just use this thing to make a lot of the fruits. Chen Shang laughed loudly as he hurriedly gave the watermelon-sized green profound fruit to Long Shui, causing her to laugh out loud in excitement. Chen Shang dripped another drop, quickly turning a small piece of fruit into a watermelon-sized green profound fruit. This time, he placed the green profound fruit into his ring, for Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu to appraise its quality. I wonder if there is such an effect on the Ling Dan. Once Chen Shang thought of this, he immediately went to do it. He cut open a Junyuan Dan and dripped a drop of the power of creation into it. However, he waited for a long time without any reaction. I don't think so. Your Dan doesn't have life force. But the green profound fruit has that, which is why it can be created. Su Meiyao said, the quality of that green profound fruit is very good, it's equivalent to 10 green profound fruits. Chen Shang asked Su Meiyao to take out a little bit of soul-retrieving herb that only in the size of a fingernail. He dripped a drop of power of creation onto it. Not long later, the small piece of soul-retrieving herb was surrounded by white lights, and after the white lights disappeared, the small piece of grass was only slightly larger. This is indeed an upper-rank earth-level elixir. It grows up too slow. Chen Shang was a little disappointed, but that was within reason. Following that, his dropped all the small bottle of power of creation onto the small herb. It didn't take long for the fingernail-sized herb to grow to as big as a finger. Another half of the bottle should be able to transform it into a complete and mature soul-retrieving herb. Sui Meiyao said in excitement. This was much faster than using the grass seeds to plant. According to the speed at which Chen Shang condensed the power of creation, he could get one soul-retrieving herb within 4 hours. In the past, it would take a pretty long time to grow. Following that, Chen Shang not only tried the soul-retrieving herb, but also the 9-element flowers and white jade lotus seed. This time, he tried a different method. He split the white jade lotus seed in half and then using half of a bottle of power of creation on top of it. This way, the power of creation could make white jade lotus seed to create another half of itself spontaneously. It was the same with the 9-element flowers. This way, he didn't need to spend too much time growing more trees then waiting for them to mature. Now, all he needed to do was to create fruits straightly. It required an actual body to create something. It could be a small piece or a half. After a day, Chen Shang was able to prepare 2 medicinal ingredients of life-retrieving Dan. This method was so efficient. If the Dan alchemists of the heavenly realm were to find out about it, Chen Shang would definitely be in a great trouble. No matter how you do it, you can chop some medicinal herbs into pieces, then dilute the power of creation into water and use it to water the medicinal herbs. Very quickly, the medicinal herbs will become complete, then you can chop them into pieces, water them again. As Su Meiyao said this, she was so excited that she took a deep breath. The power of creation was self-division, then fusion, and division and fusion again, in a cycle that circulated endlessly. It was the same principle as creating a batch of medicinal herbs. This was the power of creation within the universe. Haha, Chen Shang laughed maniacally. As long as he obtained a set of precious medicinal ingredients, he would be able to duplicate them in bulk. He would definitely be able to make a lot of benefit in a world where Dan was so scarce. In just 5 days, Chen Shang already had prepared 10 servings of life-retrieving Dan. This made him want to find Lu Menger immediately, but he knew that he couldn't interrupt her cultivation. Of course, it was not that he had nothing to do, he had plenty of things to busy himself with. He had promised Elder Dan that he would be able to refine a low-rank Earth-level Dan within 3 years and compete with him. Now he began to refine a middle-rank profound-level Dan. Previously, he had obtained a spring garden fruit tree and some pure essence fruits from the evil demon profound realm in the King's continent, which could be used to refine pure essence golden Dan. The pure essence golden Dan was a kind of pellet that could help people quickly increase their true chi. It was suitable for a 9th or ultimate stage genuine martial realm artist to consume. According to Chen Zhang's knowledge, the pure essence golden Dan was also rare in the market and its price was very high. One pill was worth 2 to 3 million crystals. However, even if one had crystals, it was hard to find and buy one. The pure essence golden Dan was not only a rare ingredient, but it was also very difficult to refine. The main ingredients included fruits and leaves of pure essence fruit trees, as well as some yearly supplementary medicines. The pure essence fruit was a very special spirit fruit. As long as it was stimulated, it would explode. Therefore, when refining, one needed to use a very mild flame. Even so, it would accidentally explode anyway. As Chen Shang obtained the pure essence fruit tree, Su Meiyao had already plucked the leaves and fruits. She divided them into portions so that Chen Shang could refine them faster. This kind of Dan is much better than the 5 elements true essence Dan. After all, it's a middle rank profound level Dan. In the world of Dan, 1 rank difference means a huge gap. Although only 2 main medicinal ingredients were needed, they were extremely difficult to find. Moreover, once they were stimulated, those pure essence fruits would also be destroyed. Last time a number of pure essence fruits were destroyed when you brought here a whole tree. Su Meiyao said. If those Dan refiners had so many pure essence fruits destroyed by Chen Shang, their hearts would ache a lot. However, Chen Shang did not care at all. As long as he had a few days, he would be able to make a whole bunch of them. He could even use the pure essence fruit as an explosive pill to attack others. As long as I can refine a few types of low-rank Earth-level Dan, I will be able to compete with Elder Dan. At that time I should be able to see how she looks like. I've been curious for a long time, Chen Shang said. Of course, what he was most worried about was Elder Dan's safety in the Nirvana tribulation. He already considered Elder Dan as his good friend, so he decided to meet Elder Dan and give her some medicinal ingredients of life-retrieving Dan. Chen Shang took out the flame dragon treasure furnace and sighed with emotion. He knew that once he obtained the heaven and earth fire soul, he would be able to refine the pills even faster, especially as he burned and refined those stubborn medicinal ingredients. Chen Zhang's Dan refining skills were not learnable to anyone. Now that he was gradually getting used to using magic power to refine, which was much easier to use divine sense. For example, his magic power could easily squeeze those tyrannical spirit chi. He carefully placed the medicinal ingredients needed to refine the pure essence golden Dan into the flame dragon treasure furnace, then infilled flames into it. After that, a muffled bang was generated. It exploded just like that. Chen Zhang's flame was already very gentle, but before he could even take a practice, the pure essence fruit exploded and blew up all the other herbs. I told you, it seems like your refining method is not good enough. You need to react faster. In the future, there will be more medicinal herbs of this type. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang nodded his head and continued. Just now, he was already familiar with the characteristics of the pure essence fruit, so he could refine it more accurately the second time. Chapter 496, The Pure Essence Golden Dan. Inside the secret room, Chen Zhang's Dan furnace started trembling with a loud bang. It is the damned fifth time. Chen Shang laid on the ground, his forehead drenched in sweat. This was the first time he had failed so many times in his practice. This pure essence golden Dan was indeed very difficult to refine. This kind of spiritual energy consumption caused his head to sink. He closed his eyes and rested for a moment, thinking about the reason for his failure. Damned, it's all because of those leaves. Why are the same leaves with different natures? Some of them are stubborn enough to burn with fire, while others are gentle enough that they would disappear by accident. Moreover, once they disappear, the Dan furnace will be in chaos and detonated the pure essence fruits. Chen Zhang's head was extremely big. There were at least a few dozen of leaves, each of which was different in size. It was equivalent to dozens of different types of spiritual medicines, either very stubborn or very fragile. Coupled with the supplementary medicinal herbs, it was equivalent to refining 60 to 70 different medicinal herbs at the same time. This made Chen Shang extremely frustrated. These leaves are all the same in the beginning, but after being incinerated by the flames, all kinds of changes will occur. Don't look down on these leaves. They would not have been the main herbs without such variations. You have to grasp the nature of each leaf as soon as those leaves mutate. You have to remember it well in order to properly refine it. Su Meiyao said. These leaves were not mutating simultaneously. Some of them were faster, while others were slower. You would not grasp it if any tiny accident occurred. It seems like all of the leaves mutated in one instant, but they did not mutate in the same instant, because there was a very weak time gap between them. Therefore, Chen Shang had to remember the properties of dozens of leaves in half an instant and then quickly refine them. According to the results of the refining, he had to hastily adjust them in half an instant before attempting to refine them again. Dan refiners at the level of King of Dan can split a moment into 2 hours. Even though it is only a moment, in the eyes of the Dan Kings, it is as slow as 2 hours, so they have enough time to refine it. You should know that refining methods requires a very high level of mastery of time. Sometimes, you will be defeated in less than half an hour. You must know, the heavenly grade Dan refined by the King of Dan can only be obtained once in 1,000 years, so they must not fail. The time was short, but if his perception was very keen and he took fast lapsing time very slowly, he didn't have to fail due to short of time. It was just like when the enemy was punching quickly, if one had strong eyesight and divine sense, he could slow down the enemy's fast fists and then dodge or block them. Chen Shang now understood that refining a higher level Dan did not rely on multiple failures to successfully refine it. Rather, it required other aspects of improvement. After resting well, Chen Shang continued refining the pure essence golden Dan. This time, he had to focus on the moment when the leaves changed. He had to slow down that moment so that he would be able to know every leaf thoroughly before properly refining it. To do this, Chen Zhang's observation ability needed to be faster and more accurate. After 10 times, Chen Shang had already made a breakthrough and was able to slow down his cultivation. However, he still used up a lot of his spirit energy. Now, he knew why he needed to refine higher level Dan to increase his strength. Even though he was a cultivator of the divine path and had a powerful divine sense, he still couldn't handle it. This time, I must cross that threshold. Chen Shang rested for an entire day and put himself in a peak condition. The last time he failed, he was only failing on getting aware of the property of one leaf. He still had some pure essence fruits and leaves, enough for him to try a few more times. If he still wasn't successful, he could only wait a few more days and plant more before refining them. After a short moment, Chen Shang let out a sigh of relief. He finally stepped past the rock that was obstructing his path to success. Right now, he could hold on to those dozens of leaves with different characteristics and begin the correct training. Difficulties were overcome bit by bit, and success was accumulated through continuous failures. Even though he hadn't succeeded yet, Chen Shang felt very excited because he had stepped over a hurdle. Very soon, it was time to condense and form Dan, which was also the most difficult time in a refining process. He had to continuously refine, adjust the wrong me, practice again, and adjust again. The exchange was extremely intense, and was going on and on until the formation was successful. If he did not use his magic power to supplement the formation process, he would not have enough divine sense right now because he had consumed a lot in the previous refining steps. Even though using magic power could reduce the burden on his divine sense, he was still drenched in sweat and had a splitting headache. Fortunately, he had already gotten used to refining other Dan earlier, otherwise he would have gone crazy. Chen Zhang's forehead was full of veins. The muscles on his face started to twitch, and the flame dragon furnace trembled crazily. This was the critical moment for the core formation. After a short moment, Chen Zhang's pale face reddened. He, who was tensed up, relaxed, while Dan stopped shaking. Although he failed 20 times, it only took him a few days to successfully refine the pure essence golden pill. It's finally done. He opened the lid of the Dan furnace and saw 4 glittering Dan inside. Those were the pure essence golden Dan. Even though it was only 4 pills, its effects were much better than 45 elements true essence Dan. One more than that recorded in the book. I feel that when I familiarize myself with it, I should be able to produce 5 in one go. Chen Shang gave 2 pure essence golden Dan to Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, and reserved 1 for Long Shuiyi. Superior quality. When many alchemists learn to refine new pills, they will reduce the quantity and quality of the Dan they refine to the lowest level to guarantee success, then improve quality and yield after familiarizing themselves with the process. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang, on the other hand, had already decided from the start that he wanted to refine superior quality and large amounts of Dan, which was the exact opposite of what many alchemists wanted. It seems that I need to refine more of this kind of Dan. Once my cultivation stabilizes, I can take them. Other people can also take them to improve quickly. Chen Shang began to plan. If it was before, he might have to plant trees first, but now he only needed to chop the pure yuan leaves and fruits into minced pieces and then use the power of creation liquid to water them. Next, he would begin to condense and create the divine liquid. This was the name he had given to such a magical item. Make it more, so I can sell it to those green hands and make a huge profit. Right now, he was the one who possessed over 1 billion crystals. However, he was still insignificant in the eyes of those headmasters. Chapter 497, Assistance from Outside the Heaven. In order to solidify his foundation, Chen Shang needed to stay at the early phase of spiritual martial realm for a period of time. When he felt that it was about the proper time, he could immediately level up. He gathered a large amount of power of creation liquid and passed it to Su Meiyao, allowing her and Bai Yuyu to create a large amount of pure essence fruit and leaves in the ring. After a few days, Chen Shang already had a large amount of medicinal ingredients to refine the pure essence golden Dan. Right now, he was continuously refining Dan, one reason of which was to help him consolidate the foundation for refining the middle grade profound rank Dan, and the other was to obtain a large amount of pure essence golden Dan. Either he took it or sold to others, he would definitely benefit a lot from it. Straightly, Chen Shang had already refined the pure essence golden Dan for more than 2 months, and he had even locked himself in the secret room while laid down a barrier to isolate the sound from the outside, allowing him to refine Dan in peace, because he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to refine the pure essence golden Dan to familiarize himself with the technique of slowing down time. This was not only useful for refining pills, but also brought great benefits during battles, especially when he met those who made quick moves. 1,000 pure essence golden dan should be enough for a very long time. Chen Shang looked at the baskets of golden pills, his eyes stinging from the golden light. Only a prodigy like him would be able to refine the precious dan in baskets after baskets. You do have made a great progress. It seems that you have already gotten used to and mastered higher level dan refining techniques, especially observing those high-speed changes. Su Meiyao said. Chen Zhang's rapid progress made her gasp in amazement, but she was already used to it. Chen Shang stretched lazily and said with a smile, Sister Meiyao, I'm really tired right now, why don't you help me wash up? No way, don't even think about it. Su Meiyao coquettishly said. He took a hot bath and flirted with Su Meiyao before lying on the soft bed and having a good sleep. The next day, Chen Shang, who was having a beautiful dream, suddenly heard someone call out to him. Chen Shang, Chen Shang. Chen Shang immediately opened his eyes, because this was Wu Qianshen's voice. Her return did make him happy. After all, she was very beautiful. Even without the noble postures like that of Lu Mengzhi or Hua Shangyu, her looking and body were pretty attractive. Qianshen, I missed you so much. Chen Shang grinned as he opened the door. Wu Qianshen giggled as a sweet smile appeared on her beautiful face, you really miss me. Chen Shang welcomed Wu Qianshen into the living room and asked, Qianshen, where have you been? I can't even find you. I have gone into a closed-door training. It was Elder Dan who arranged it. However, no matter how hard I try, I will not be able to catch up with you. Sigh, Wu Qianshen sighed. She was such a competitive woman. Even though Wu Qianshen said so, Chen Shang felt that it was not easy for her. She was now a stage 9 warrior of the true martial realm. Chen Shang wanted to know what methods Elder Dan had used to make her grow up so quickly. Do you have any business with me? Or you really miss me? Quote. Wu Qianshen smiled sweetly with her eyes squeezed. She was originally a prideful woman, but after Chen Shang lectured her, she completely changed. Right now, the white dress she wore was very old, but it was very clean. Although she didn't have any gorgeous clothes, her bright and sweet smile, beautiful face, and mature charm made her seem like a carefree person. Yes, both of them. As Chen Shang spoke, he took out a few storage pouches. These are all true essence dan, white jade powder, foundation building dan, bone cleansing dan, and 5 elements true essence dan. I don't remember how much there are. Just take and refine them. Wu Qianshen already knew that Chen Shang was very generous, but before this, she had only given him some gradients of true essence dan. Now, he even had foundation establishment dan and 5 elements true essence dan, which were all low-grade profound rank dan and extremely precious. You better hurry up and learn how to refine it. Don't waste too many medicinal herbs. If Elder Dan asks about it, just say that I gave it to you. According to the previous agreement, once you have successfully refined one portion, you take one of your own, and give me everything left. Chen Shang said. He had a lot of these herbs, but he was too lazy to waste time on them. This was a great opportunity, so Wu Qianshen certainly wouldn't refuse. She smiled sweetly and said, You are so generous. How should I repay you? What about a night with me? Chen Shang said in a bad smile, which made Wu Qianshen blush slightly. Aren't you afraid that your little fairy wife will be jealous? Wu Qianshen's smile was very enchanting and her seductive demeanor was extremely seductive. Chen Zhang's heart rippled as he watched. Hee, I was just joking. As Chen Shang spoke, he couldn't help but look at Wu Qianshen's chest. It was actually a lot bigger, making him feel that women were ever changing. After Wu Qianshen put away the bags of holding, she said, I came back this time because I wanted to go to the Demon Subduing Academy to learn some abilities, but I couldn't meet the requirements. They only recruit those who have reached the extreme realm. The Demon Subduing Academy, what is it? Chen Shang asked in a query. He hadn't come out for just 2 months, but something like this suddenly popped up. You don't know about it? Wu Qianshen said in surprise, both of your fairy wife and white-haired sister are inside it. How could you not know about it? Out of his expectation, both Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan went to that so-called Demon Subduing Academy. Chen Shang was even more puzzled. However, he was happy that Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan both stepped into the extreme realm. Wu Qianshen had said earlier that only the extreme realm martial artists could enter. Tell me about it, I've been here too long. Chen Shang hurriedly asked. You better ask the headmaster. He might be able to speak in more details. I am leaving first. The next time we meet, I'll definitely be able to bring back a lot of Dan for you. Wu Qianchen smiled at Chen Shang before turning around to leave. Chen Shang quickly found Ji Yudongchen. Junior Master, I yelled till my throat broke, but you didn't even come out to see me. Now you know the consequences of not seeing me, don't you? Ji Yudongchen crossed his arms in front of his chest and said with a smile. Chen Shang grunted as he took out a pure essence golden Dan and threw it over. I'm making this. Hurry up and tell me. After that, I'll make a deal with you. After receiving the pure essence golden Dan, Ji Yudongchen immediately recognized it. He shouted excitedly, it's really a gift to me. This is good stuff. However, when he thought of making a deal with Chen Shang, Ji Yudongchen's heart couldn't help but hurt. He knew that Chen Shang would definitely benefit a lot from him. The Demon Subduing Academy appears out of nowhere a month ago. Just like the Fire God Shrine, it was from other worlds. However, unlike the Fire God Shrine, the Demon Subduing Academy does not aim to monopolizing the entire mortal martial realm. As Ji Yudongchen spoke, he carefully looked at the golden pellet in his hand. He was sure that this was a pure essence golden Dan, a middle-grade profound rank Dan, which could help a man quickly obtain a large amount of true chi. It was very useful, especially for warriors at stage 8 and 9 of the true martial realm. The goal of this Demon Subduing Academy is to impart some martial arts techniques that can deal with fiendish demons to young martial artists with great potential and outstanding strength in this mortal martial realm. It also recruits young martial artists from other worlds who are all geniuses of this region. Ji Yudongchen returned the pure essence gold Dan to Chen Shang and said, I suggest you go inside to learn some martial arts techniques to deal with fiendish demons, as well as some knowledge of the fiendish demon realm. Chapter 498, Demon Subduing Academy. To deal with demons and monsters, Chen Shang already had the demon suppression technique. He felt that there was no need to learn more of them. This Demon Subduing Academy is not simple. I've seen the Dean before. He is a very powerful guy. After this academy arrived, those men from the Fire God Shrine didn't even dare to make a sound. There seems to be a force in the heavenly realm called the Demon Suppression Shrine. Ji Yudongchen's words caused Chen Shang to ponder deeply. This was because the demon suppression technique he cultivated was most likely related to the Demon Suppression Shrine. I suggest you go there. If it is really related to the forces of the heavenly realm, perhaps you can learn the latest knowledge about the demon world from the school. Don't take the demon world too simply, it will benefit you if you have a deeper understanding of them. Junior sister and I only know about the demon world a long time ago. Bai Yuyu said quietly. Thinking of that, both Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin had been there. No matter how busy Chen Shang was now, he still had to join in the fun in order to prevent them from being bullied inside. I'll see. Little Hare, are you interested in my pure essence golden Dan? Chen Shang asked with a smile. Of course, but if you offer too high a price, you might let me not. Ji Yudongchen smiled bitterly. 3 million crystals per pellet, I can sell it to you for 100 pellets. Chen Shang said firmly with his hands behind his back. Judging from his expression, there was no room for negotiation. This was 300 million crystals. Ji Yudongchen had no choice but to bear with the pain in buying them in order to strengthen his sect. Chen Shang knew that the headmaster had traveled across many continents and lived for over 10,000 years. He controlled many huge crystal mines and was extremely wealthy. Thus, Chen Shang did not show mercy. Now I have 1.8 billion crystals. However, I can't afford a lot of earth rank elixirs. Chen Shang shook his head and sighed. The reason why he earned so many crystals was so that he would have a greater chance of winning when he comes across precious spiritual medicines. The Demon Subduing Academy was established on the King's continent, which was the largest continent in the mortal martial world. However, the academy was moved here entirely, so of course they would choose the largest continent, so did the Fire God Shrine. As the ruler of the King's continent, the royal family couldn't say anything about it. Last time when they did something to Chen Shang, they received a heavy punishment. Thus, they didn't dare to do anything to Chen Shang in the future. Master, are you going to Demon Subduing Academy? The voice of a child could be heard. Chen Shang immediately knew that this was Xiao Chao's voice. Of course, kid, you can't have also stepped into the extreme realm, are you? Chen Shang rubbed his small bald head as he asked in astonishment. Ever since my power awakened, my speed of improvement has been very quick. About 10 days ago, I entered the extreme realm. Right now, it's the early stage of the spiritual martial realm. Xiao Chou smiled complacently. Master, I feel that I can defeat you now. Don't worry, even if I can defeat you, I am still your disciple, because you are the one who made me understand that it takes a current attitude to increase my strength. Chen Shang slapped his little baldy and said with a smile, "Little brat, you still haven't changed your arrogant habits. Now, if you fight me again, I can also beat you until you cry and piss off." No way. Xiao Chou was full of confidence now because after he had stepped into the extreme realm, he felt his strength had increased by many times. "I will have a chance to convince you. Let's not talk about this for now, you also studied at the Demon Subduing Academy?" Chen Shang asked. "Yeah, the guys there are all very strong. Right now it's a holiday, so I come back to take a look," Xiao Chou said, but there was something hidden in his eyes. "Hee, were you bullied inside?" Chen Shang laughed. "No, not at all. I was just pestered by big sister Leng who wants to fight with me. Master, you know that she is your little sister. If I would be injured by her if I were to lightly beat her, while I would hurt her if I took so bad, so I could only avoid her." Xiao Chou sighed. Chen Shang laughed. "That's the girl. Right, are there any uses for what you learned in the school?" Chen Shang asked curiously. "It's a little useful, it contains a lot of knowledge about fiendish demons. For example, the types of fiendish demons, as well as some weaknesses of fiendish demons, and so on. There are also some martial arts techniques that can deal with fiendish demons, but those are very difficult to learn." "Is that because you are so stupid?" Chen Shang laughed. "Of course not, big sister Leng and mistress won't be able to learn it even if they entered 10 days earlier than me. If I was stupid, they would be even more stupid than me." Xiao Chou grunted. It could be seen that he had been thoroughly bullied by Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan. Shui Shenxian had been following Chen Shang around in the wild since she was very young, so she was also a mischievous master. Now that she was with a girl who only wished to stir up chaos in the world, one could imagine it. "The academy is on for 5 days and then rest for another 2. I will first be quiet and peaceful, then after 2 days, I will go to the academy and ask teachers to give me some points." Xiao Chou clenched his small fists, he couldn't wait to have a match with Chen Shang right now. Chen Shang patted his head and said with a smile, "Then you'd better enjoy yourself for the next 2 days." Xiao Chou was from the huge strength clan. He was born to be with a big strength, while his divine power in later age would be more powerful. However, Chen Shang was not afraid of him. Even though his cultivation level did not increase, his physical body, divine sense, and flames was far beyond that before. Through the teleportation formation, Chen Shang arrived at the King's continent. Then, he used the teleportation formation on the King's continent to teleport himself to the entrance of the Demon Subduing Academy. The academy was built in a dangerous mountain range on the King's continent. It took up a lot of space and its buildings were very grand. A tall stone building was as big as a mountain. From afar, it looked like a castle lived in by a giant. The majestic feelings made Chen Shang afraid in a look. This incomparably large academy was surrounded by high walls. Chen Shang could feel the terrifying formation power from the entrance. He was certain that even someone of Huang Jintian's level wouldn't be able to force his way in. The entrance of the academy was very large. It was a huge iron gate that was open, and on both sides of the gate were several tens of armored guards with sharp blades in their hands. Chen Shang directly walked in, but was stopped in his tracks, while caused him to feel a little suspicious since others weren't stopped. "Where's your school medallion?" a guard asked. His voice was cold and filled with a terrifying killing intent. It could be seen that these guards were no ordinary people. Furthermore, they were all decisive killing individuals. Now, Chen Shang felt more and more that this school was not simple. From the looks of things, it was more powerful than any other faction in the mortal martial realm. "I want to enter the Demon Fighter Academy to study. I only heard the news recently," Chen Shang explained. "Go over there, there is a special passage at the city wall. If you can pass through that passage, you will have the right to study in the Demon Subduing Academy." One of the guards pointed in a direction. Chen Shang retreated a few steps and saw that there were many small doors on one wall. However, there was only one that was open. Chapter 499, Bloody Saber-Teethed Tiger. Without any consideration, Chen Shang walked towards the gate of city wall. Right now, he was in a hurry to find Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan. "Kid, are you sure you want to go in?" a guard said suddenly. "Of course, what's wrong? Could it be that the academy no longer accepts students?" Chen Shang stopped walking. "Don't you know that the passage is the hardest one? Those less difficult passages have all been closed, because the Demon Subduing Academy has already recruited enough students. If anyone wants to enter later, he or she can only go through the most difficult passage. The guard sneered. Got it, Chen Shang replied. He did not care about it at all, but strode over. You will definitely fail if you take this path. No one has been able to pass through it successfully until now. Moreover, you're alone. That passageway is originally reserved for those teams with the team consciousness to take. The guard said again. Chen Shang scratched his head. This is the only way for me to enter the Demon Subduing Academy, right? Exactly. Then I have to take it. Stop talking nonsense and watch your door carefully. Chen Shang curled his lips and leapt towards the small door under the city wall. Chen Shang did not feel anything inside except for a wave of cool breeze. He was not afraid of it at all right now. Instead, he was looking forward to it because he wanted to test the might of the White Tiger divine weapon, the Hand of God of Slaughter. The harder the challenge was, the more possible for him to test the might of the White Tiger divine weapon. After walking in, Chen Shang immediately became vigilant. He quickly reached the end without encountering any dangers, which caused him to doubt. Previously, the guard had said that this place was like the hell, but now it was so calm. Could it be behind this door? Chen Shang touched the thick stone door and slowly pushed it open. Pushing open the stone door, Chen Shang saw a dazzling white light before him. He walked out of the stone door and arrived at a circular arena surrounded by high walls. This made him feel like he was in a coliseum. However, this coliseum was very large and was several hundred meters wide. It was enveloped by a very powerful formation. Dang, dang, dang. A bell suddenly rang out, and someone cried out in alarm, someone is coming, someone is walking through the death passage again. Chen Shang frowned as he looked around, but he did not see anything. He could only see that there were many people on the high walls. They were all good-looking, and their faces were all filled with expressions of amusement as they chatted with their companions. The Colosseum was used to please people. Sometimes, it was a fight between beasts, and sometimes, it was a battle between humans and beasts. Generally, it was a battle between divine sense. That formation is so powerful. It's very difficult to get in from the top or from the bottom. Long Shui said. Chen Shang stood in the middle of the Colosseum. He looked at the people standing on the high walls, searching for his familiar face. However, he didn't see any of them. Is that Chen Shang? I've seen him fighting in a martial art contest on the King's continent. He's really amazing, a man suddenly shouted. Chen Shang. This name was extremely well known in the mortal martial realm, especially among the younger generation. This was because Chen Shang was a peak existence among the younger generation. Regardless of whether it was in terms of alchemy or strength, it was extremely difficult to not know him. It's really Chen Shang. I did not expect that he would come to the Demon Subduing Academy. This guy must have been in closed-door cultivation. He's really working hard in a closed-door cultivation all day, no wonder he's so strong. Is this the strongest young man in the mortal martial realm? I'd like to see how good he is. A young man dressed in luxurious clothing said. Hee, you are from another world. You have never seen his martial arts with your own eyes, so you can't feel his power. Quote. At this moment, everyone was discussing the famous Chen Shang, especially when they found out that Chen Shang had turned the Fire God Shrine's most powerful young man into a meat patty 2 or 3 months ago. They couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He's facing a profound beast whose strength is almost in the second rank of profound beast. The previous team of 8 were defeated quickly. Can he pass alone? A man said. That's hard to say. That profound beast is indeed very strong. Even though it is only a first-rank profound beast, several spirit marital realm martial artists could not defeat it. However, Chen Shang can always do some amazing things. Chen Shang suddenly caught this part of the conversation. He knew that he was facing a dangerous situation, and it was actually a powerful first-rank profound beast. He looked at a huge black iron door on the stone wall. He guessed that the profound beast was hiding behind that big black iron door. The iron gate opened and a wave of killing intent rushed out. However, Chen Shang did not see any profound beasts. He only saw a white-bearded old man slowly walking out. Hee, are you young hero Chen? The old man asked. The Demon Subduing Academy must have heard of what Chen Shang did in the mortal martial realm. Moreover, Chen Shang was the person they paid the most attention to. Although he had a grudge with many sects, he was forced to do so from his perspective. Of course, the most important factor was that Chen Shang was wanted by the demon god token of the demon world, and the Demon Subduing Academy knew everything about the demon world. When they found out that a kid from the mortal world was wanted by such a rank, they were all incomparably shocked, because only someone angered the demon god would he or she be wanted by the demon god token. Thus, from the perspective of the demon subduing academy, Chen Shang must have committed an act of offending a demon god. Even the immortals of the heaven realm would find it difficult to accomplish such an act. Chen Shang shrugged his shoulders and said, "Yes. It seems like I must defeat you to enter the demon subduing academy, right?" The white-mustached old man laughed. "Do you think you can win against me?" "Of course not, but I can burn your white beard." The old man subconsciously stroked his white beard. He smiled and said, "You are just as the rumors say. You really are an arrogant fellow. I am not your component. The big guy behind me is." As soon as the old man's voice fell, a shocking tiger's roar suddenly rang out. It reverberated throughout the huge circular coliseum like thunder exploding beside Chen Zhang's ears. That killing intent also filled the coliseum. After the roar, a giant tiger that looked like a giant elephant came out. Its entire body was blood red. It showed 2 giant teeth and slowly walked out. Each step caused the ground to shake, making pung, pung, pung sounds, which was extremely terrifying. It appeared, the bloody saber-teethed tiger. A man screamed. The bloody saber-teethed tiger. It was a very brutal type of demon beast that could grow up. This kind of demon beast was also the most terrifying. A demon beast that transformed into a profound beast. It could be imagined how many lives it had killed. It had been a long time since Chen Shang lastly fought with such a giant creature. However, he had not even a tiny bit of fear at all, which caused many people to admire him. Previously, there were also some people who took this route, but after seeing the huge bloody saber-teethed tiger, the majority of them left. Only a few teams dared to try and challenge it. "Are you sure you want to fight this big guy? Ain't you afraid of death?" the long-bearded old man asked with a smile. Chen Shang smiled. "Are you sure you want it to duel with me? Ain't you afraid of its death? Such an arrogant kid. Since that's the case, I want to see just what kind of capabilities you have." The old man gently leapt into the air and stood on top of the high wall, overlooking the Colosseum. Quote. Chapter 500. The Shock of Purgatory. The bloody saber-teethed tiger immediately roared again and again as it saw the old man walking away. Its huge body spewed out waves of killing intent, with which it intended to intimidate Chen Shang. What made Chen Shang amused was that he was even able to defeat the white tiger, which was a divine beast in tiger species, let alone a tiger that had not completely evolved. Ever since he arrived here, a pair of white boxing gloves had appeared on Chen Zhang's hands. This was very normal. Some of the martial artists had gloves on, so he didn't care about his hands that were possessed by the hand of God of Slaughter. Today, I will use the white tiger divine weapon to test the effects of fighting tigers. Chen Zhang's heart was filled with excitement. He clenched his fists tightly, waiting for the right moment to make his move. The bloody saber-teethed tiger roared, but Chen Shang was not intimidated, which made it feel that it was been underestimated. Immediately, the tiger flew into a rage and pounced towards Chen Shang with an angry roar. At the same time, a stream of black air gushed out from its bloody mouth. Too slow. Just as the bloody saber-teethed tiger pounced, Chen Shang dodged it in an instant. He arrived beside the gigantic tiger's body and punched towards its mountain-like abdomen. At the moment Chen Shang threw out his fist, the true qi in his body was like a surging river, spewing out from his dantian and entering his arms through all kinds of small and big meridians. It rushed into his fist and exploded with a strong impact, which was shot out through the hand of God of Slaughter. The power could be said to be earth-shattering. After a quick explosion of air, it punched on the giant body of the tiger. With a loud sound, the Colosseum shook violently. The huge tiger body was sent flying by Chen Zhang's punch and crashed into the tall stone wall. The strong impact created a shockwave that swept away the dust on the ground, forming a gale that blew against the stone wall, creating a majestic atmosphere. As soon as Chen Zhang's feet touched the ground, he shot forward like an arrow towards the bloody saber-teethed tiger. This time, Chen Zhang's fists danced wildly, forming countless fist shadows that covered the sky. The fist shadows surged and the air cracked, creating bursts of explosive sounds as it hit the bloody saber-teethed tiger's body. The attack caused the saber-toothed blood tiger to constantly curl up into a ball. Although it let out a painful roar, the sound was hidden by the explosion from Chen Zhang's fist. This shocking scene caused everyone to be dumbfounded. They suddenly suspected that the bloody saber-teethed blood tiger had not eaten for many days and had become so weak. It was forced to the wall and crazily beaten up without any strength to fight back. Currently, only the bloody saber-teethed tiger itself knew how much pain it was suffering, especially the power in Chen Zhang's fist that made it afraid. That power caused its soul to tremble. It could not retaliate, but undertaking the explosion-like fists. The bloody saber-teethed tiger was a tiger species, so it was most afraid of the white tiger. While the gloves in Chen Zhang's hand was made from a white tiger's body. It contained the unique power of the white tiger, and after Chen Shang used his heaven and earth true qi, its strength increased even more. Not long after, the bloody saber-teethed tiger was drenched in blood, which made its red fur become even redder. The toughness of the tiger's skin was completely covered in bloody holes from Chen Zhang's explosive fists. How boring. It is too scared to fight back. Chen Shang was very unhappy in his heart, because he couldn't test out the might of the white tiger divine weapon. After fighting for a while, the bloody saber-teethed tiger let out waves of soft howls, whereas Chen Shang suddenly retreated to the center of the Colosseum. The people who were still shocked by Chen Zhang's berserk fist techniques, but now they were still unable to understand. Chen Shang could have continued on and killed the bloody creature. However, Chen Shang didn't think this way. If he were to continue, he didn't know how long he would be fighting. He just wanted to end it as quickly as possible. What is he doing? A person screamed as he saw a pair of huge fire wings suddenly appear on Chen Zhang's back. These are his true qi fire wings. I heard they can become very big. There was no need to hear anymore because everyone had seen with their own eyes how big Chen Zhang's fire wings were. It stretched out to a width of several hundred feet and enveloped the Colosseum. This circular Colosseum was clearly shocked by Chen Zhang's huge fire wings. Purgatory tornado. Chen Zhang's body suddenly began to spin crazily. The bloody saber-teethed tiger that had just obtained a chance to breathe was immediately swept up by the wildfire dragon. Not to mention a giant bloody saber-teethed tiger, even a huge mountain would be swept away by this crazy tornado. Chen Zhang's wings were like a reamer. As they rotated, they released a tornado at the same time. The people on top of the high wall were all dumbstruck, because the circular Colosseum in front of them was filled with flames. The violent and frenzied roars made it seem extremely terrifying when it rotated, as if it was a purgatory. There were already quite a few people who slowly backed away. They were afraid of being caught in it. Although there was a formation to block it, some people couldn't help feeling fear. They knew they wouldn't feel good after being caught in it. This brat, the old man with white beard, also expressed a shock on his faces. He was pouring his energy into the formation to stabilize it. Go, right now, the white-mustached old man roared. His voice awakened those people who were still dazed and fled the Colosseum with a face full of fear. At present, Chen Zhang's flame was highly formidable. It was not the pure fire of the vermilion bird, but the heaven and earth fire stimulated by the heaven and earth true qi. This kind of flame was originally very violent, but now that Chen Shang released it, the scorching heat eroded the foundation of the formation and slowly destroyed them. It can't hold on any longer. The old man was sweating profusely. At the same time, a wildly spinning pillar of fire suddenly shot out from the Colosseum and shot straight up into the sky. An incomparably terrifying heat spread in all directions, incinerating all the things around the Colosseum into ashes. At this moment, everyone in the Demon Subduing Academy could see the huge pillar of fire suddenly erupting and feel the whole school being enveloped in a terrible heat, which made them hard to breathe. You won. Stop it, the old man with white beard shouted. He could not forcibly stop Chen Shang because he did not want Chen Shang to be injured. Chen Shang hurriedly withdrew his hand. The bloody sword-teethed tiger that was swept up in the air also fell to the ground. Just as it was about to hit the ground, it was stopped by the old man with white beard. Why didn't you say so earlier? I have wasted so much true qi. Chen Shang slowly descended as he giggled. The old man with white beard looked at the ruins of Colosseum and smiled bitterly. How would I know that you are so savage, not knowing how to show any mercy?